Price today is up another penny at $5.55 on average for regular, says Guest. But the closest to us in price is Washington, and that has now finally gone over $5 per gallon. A truck goes off the side of Highway 178 and down an embankment about 30 feet, says the Highway Patrol. That mishap happened Tuesday afternoon about 5 p.m. in the Kern River Canyon. But even though the truck's descent was steep and 3 people were inside it when it came to rest, none of those people were hurt and all managed to climb up the side of the embankment, says the Highway Patrol. Some people believe the 21-year sentence for Freddie Rivera of Delano given Tuesday afternoon for the September 2023 killing of gay rights activist David Landeros, which happened during a fight in Yokuts Park, was too lenient. The sentence does fit the charge, but Landeros' family members say not the crime. The charge against Rivera was reduced to voluntary manslaughter from first-degree murder, and he was sentenced accordingly. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot 'em a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Instead of bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make your call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing for those subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Wednesday, 18th day of March. Hope you had a safe and sane yet merry, lyrical St. Patrick's Day. I got phone calls from two exes who were at the same bar. Is that funny?
They call you because they saw each other?
No, they didn't even know each other. One texted me, and then the next one called, and I said, "That's funny. I've got a friend there." She's like, "Who?" I was like, "Never mind. Let's not even go there." Can you guess where they were?
Murphy's?
That's a good guess.
Riley's?
No, it's almost, but no, that's not as good as what the answer is. There's a really obvious answer where apparently everybody was. It was on the news. McGarry's. They had a full piece.
I forget about that.
Don't tell me. Back. I know.
Sorry,
I was going to get there. I was going to get there before 6 o'clock. Bagpipes and the skirts and the kilts and the whole thing. Something? They were on the news, and yeah, that's where.
Would not surprise me if that was my dad.
Doing the bagpipes?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Did he used to do that for Garces?
No, he went to Highland.
Did he do it for Highland? Did he really?
Yep.
That's crazy.
My entire life, I grew up with him practicing in the garage.
Why did you never pick up the bagpipe?
Are you kidding?
That's funny. Are
Walking
you
around in a kilt? No.
Are you instrumental at all?
Yeah, I mean, loosely, but not good enough to actually play anything.
Oh, that's crazy. That would, yeah, that'd be annoying.
I already got I look exactly like my dad.
Yeah.
So I get the whole, oh look, it's Doug's clone. So if I'm walking around with a kilt and a bag or a set of bagpipes too, I'm just adding into it.
Yeah, that's not a very attractive look on men, if you ask me. We got a busy show as per usual. The Van Alstynes will join us at the bottom of the hour. Owner operators of Adaptive Networks, our IT team as well. It should be yours if you really care about your IT. Call them today at 661-241-0638 or hit them online at adaptive-net.com. And then at 4 o'clock, it's a Wednesday, Howard Marcus will be with us. And in the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to meet Cheryl Scott. She's going to tell us about the Sterling Silver Dinner at Bakersfield College over the past weekend and the foundation that supports it and puts it on. It's a big gala for them. It's the big event of the year for Bakersfield College. So we'll talk with her. And there is no doubt that Kevin Mays is going to trial. However, his preliminary hearing continues, in which at the end the judge will say, yes, there's more than enough information here. And I hope I'm not jeopardizing the case. I hope I don't get a letter from the DA's office. But I think I can say there's more than enough information here to forward this to a preliminary hearing. I think that's safe to say. David Torres is representing the beleaguered former CSUB cager, as we used to call them in the newspaper business. So we'll get to that in the 5 o'clock hour. But of course, the overwhelming story of the day that it literally is all over the nation is the bombshell story out of the New York Times, which was then followed by a lifetime confession by Dolores Huerta in regards to her relationship with Cesar Chavez. The New York Times, and I don't even want to mess around with this. So if I could find my phone, where is my phone? Why don't I have my phone? Thank you. I knew. Why do you have my phone?
You left it in there.
How in the world? I was in there for like 5 seconds. 63 years old.
Puts his phone down for 5 seconds.
5 seconds. I can't find my phone.
Lose your head if it wasn't attached to your shoulders.
It's getting ugly, y'all. It's getting ugly. It's getting really ugly. I don't want to mess around with this, so I'm just going to read directly from the New York Times and their story before we get to what Dolores Huerta has said in a release to Channel 17. But this is from Manny Fernandez and Sarah Hertez. Anna Maguire remembers the day the man she had regarded as a hero called her house and summoned her to see him. She walked along a dirt trail, entered the rundown building, passed his secretary, and stepped into his office. She's talking about here, by the way. He locked the door, as he always did when he called her, and he told her how lonely he had been. He brought her onto the yoga mat that he often used in his office for meditation, kissed her, and pulled her pants down. Quote, "Don't tell anyone," he told her afterward. They'd get jealous. The man, Cesar Chavez, one of the most revered figures in the Latino civil rights movement, was 45. She was 13. Miss Maguire said she was summoned for sexual encounters with him dozens of times over the next 4 years. Recently, more than 50 years later, Miss Maguire learned that a street near her home in the central California city of Bakersfield was in the process of being renamed. City officials want to name it in honor of her abuser, Cesar Chavez Boulevard. Miss Maguire, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize, and another woman, Deborah Rojas, say that Mr. Chavez sexually abused them for years when they were girls from around 1972 to 1977. He was in his 40s and had become a powerful, charismatic figure who captured global attention as a champion of farm worker rights. The two women have not shared their stories publicly before, and an investigation by the New York Times has uncovered extensive evidence to support their accusations and those raised by several other women against Mr. Chavez, the United Farm Workers co-founder who died in 1993 at the age of 66. The question raised by the Times about Mr. Chavez was one of the most consequential figures in Mexican-American history, immediately prompted organizations with ties to him to try to distance themselves. The UFW canceled its annual celebrations honoring Mr. Chavez, a response to what the union he once led called, quote, profoundly shocking accusations. Marches in his honor, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, that was followed by the Channel 17 discussion or confession, however you want to put it, from Dolores Huerta herself. And we'll get to that after the break. But as I have talked about, I met Cesar Chavez as an intern at CNN in 1985. I was going along with a crew with a pretty popular CNN reporter who was fairly known nationally. And just a side note that has nothing to do with the story, he would later go on, the reporter that I was following around that interviewed Cesar Chavez that day, would later go on to be a longtime Jeopardy champion. I don't know what that has to do with anything. It was just unfortunate for him that when he played back in the 80s, I think they only let you win like 5 days straight and then you had to go. It wasn't like with this guy, who's the best, Ken and whatever his name is, who's now the host. He went on for months. But back in the day, I think you could only go for like a week. And no matter what you know, even if you won the 5th day, you had to go anyway. I got to sit in. And he was a very diminutive man, as I remember. He was poorly dressed. He was in some dirty jeans and a dirty jean shirt. And we spent about an hour with him. And, you know, we've talked about this a lot because men are men. And just stay with me on this now, ladies. I'm not trying to in any way justify or rationalize what this man has done. I'm going to get to a point here, and I think you'll agree with me, that men are men. And there's a difference between men and women. I used to not have to say that, but I guess in the 21st century, you actually have to say that out loud. There's actually a difference. There is. And for most men, if given the opportunity to have sex beyond the moral obligations, they would. You know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily true for most women. A lot of women, but not most women. I'll give you a vulgar, ridiculous comparison. If a naked man showed up at a woman's house and said, and very good looking man, well built, and said, I want to have sex with you, someone would say yes, but a lot of women would say no. If a beautiful woman showed up at a man's house naked, beautiful, boom, 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 and said, I want to have sex with you, no moral obligation, boom, 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 I'm assuming 8 out of 10 men would say yes. So let's first establish the nature of men and the nature of powerful men that we've talked about so often. And you can go from Dr. King to Bill Clinton to John Kennedy to Dwight Eisenhower, but there's a line. There is a very stark line. That's why Cynthia Zimmer will never be reelected, as maybe as unfair as that'll be, because she's merely related to a person who is perceived in his community to be one who crossed that line. That's how powerful the bombshell of being a sex offender is. That there is collateral damage to anyone even involved. That's why early in this, the UFW quickly, and I mean quickly, ran away from Cesar Chavez. I am told there is a statue in Fresno that they put a tarp over. And what are they going to do out here in Delano with Cesar Chavez School? I mean, actually, that's a rhetorical question because we all know what they're going to do. They're going to change the damn name, and soon, because there's a line. You can forgive someone who sleeps outside of their marriage, but when you terrorize children, it's just absolutely unacceptable. And a legacy is destroyed. And those who spoke against Cesar Chavez for decades, to be quite honest, are dancing in the street today. Many of the farmers in this very community who at some time called him a communist, a rebel rouser, an agitator, they are dancing in the streets. It's a very sad story. Let's talk about Dolores Huerta when we come back. I will read you what she has released in her incredible story, which is as head shaking, and as shocking as this whole story is. And then we must move on. Owner-operators of Adaptive Networks, Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne, will join us at the bottom of the hour. It's a Wednesday? Yeah, it's a Wednesday. So Howard Marcus will join us at 4 o'clock. We'll get into the latest on the Iranian situation. There's a lot of things that we didn't get to yesterday. We got dominated by the Lawrence Skidmore v. District Attorney story. And some of those things we'll try to get to today if we have time. Rand Paul is an absolute no on confirming fellow Senator Mark Wayne Mullins for head of DHS. Does he have what I thought was going to be a very safe confirmation? Does he have the numbers? We'll find out. Maybe not. Maybe so. You'll hear from Rand Paul and understand the backstory as to why he's dead set against the Oklahoma congressman or senator. The Save America Act is up once again. They're debating that. Day 2, we'll give you some details on that. And in the 5, Cheryl Scott from Bakersfield College will join us. That's all coming up on the Ralph Bailey Show on a hump day, 18th day of March, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live, kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and
You got Big Mike right here.
the JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Nobody's talking about that self-worth and purpose. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody says it. There's more to you than what you're doing. Let's help you get there.
Let's help you get there. Let's just all agree that there's many different roads, but different people dealing with homelessness and living on the streets to get them.
Right, I agree with you.
And as long as we can start there, then I think we can start to make a bigger dent.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You know, we've had a pretty calm winter, but you feel that heat and just realize what it's going to be like this summer. That's why if you've got a summer event, don't do the cooking, don't do the cleaning, don't do the serving. Call Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue, where Big Mike Area, comes in with his crew with a tent. They do the cleaning, they do the cooking, they do the serving, and the cooking is absolutely phenomenal. Over the last 2 decades, Mike Area, Garza's boy, went all the way to the National Football League, has used that work and discipline to become one of the finest caterers in Kern County. The food is outstanding. Mike stresses quality of meat and stresses his extras, his baked potatoes, his vegetables, etc., etc. Who would you want to be with? Call him at 393-5507. That's 393-5507. No matter what your event is, whether it's graduation, a birthday party, a luncheon, a dinner, it does not matter. Call my good friend Mike Area at 393-5507. Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue.
Look up in the sky. Yeah, that's what they cry. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's them. It's Paul Sheldon's team, that well-oiled machine of Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. Okay, not superpowers, but still thousands of hours deciphering Medicare's whims, fighting the good, learning what works right. Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. So it might seem old-fashioned, but hard work with passion most often gives you the win. And the trio that knows are those Medicare pros, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. You know, actually to many, they are superheroes. Christine, Kelly, and Lynn.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
Yes, ma'am.
398-2398.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here for King Door Company. I had my garage door installed over 20 years ago and it still works like the day it was installed. So I know all about King Door's quality products. But let's talk service. At King Door Company, it's an obsession. Whether you're having a garage door installed, serviced, or repaired, you can count on King Door Company to do it right. And it all starts with training. All King Door techs have been through the King Door Academy, an on-site training center where technicians study the very latest in garage door technology. So that when they show up at your house, they have all the experience and product knowledge they need to take care of your garage door. They really are the state of the art. And when you pair that expertise with King Door's legendary customer service, you get a service experience that can't be beat. So whether you need a new garage door or just service on an existing door, regardless of who built or installed it, count on the pros at King Door to do the job right. Just call 397-2744 or check them out online at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, the company with the pride of a lion.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Got down on my knees and I began to pray. Ain't that the truth? Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to read the statement from Dolores Huerta, who revealed a 60-year-old secret that, in some circles, I am told, was not that well kept a secret. She writes, I am nearly 96 years old, and for the last 60 years have kept a secret because I believe that exposing the truth would hurt the farm worker movement I've spent my entire life fighting for. I have encouraged people to always use their voice. Following the New York Times multi-year investigation into sexual misconduct by Cesar Chavez, I can no longer stay silent and must share my own experiences. As a young mother in the 1960s, I experienced 2 separate sexual encounters with Cesar. The first time, I was manipulated and pressured into having sex with him, and I didn't feel I could say no because he was someone that I admired, my boss, and the leader of the movement I had already devoted years of my life to. The second time, I was forced against my will and in an environment where I felt trapped. I'd experienced abuse and sexual violence before, and I convinced myself these were incidents that I had to endure alone and in secret. Both sexual encounters with Cesar led to pregnancies. I chose to keep my pregnancy secret, and after the children were born, I arranged for them to be raised by other families that could give them stable lives. Over the years, I have been fortunate to develop a deep relationship with these children who are now close to my other children, their siblings. But even then, no one knew the full truth about how they were conceived until just a few weeks ago. I carried this secret for as long as I did because building the movement and securing farm worker rights was my life's work. The formation of a union was the only vehicle to accomplish and secure those rights. I wasn't going to let Cesar or anyone else get in the way. I channeled everything I had into advocating on behalf of millions of farm workers and others who were suffering and deserved equal rights. I have never identified myself as a victim, but I now understand that I am a survivor of violence, of sexual abuse, of domineering men who saw me and other women as property or things to control. I'm telling my story because the New York Times has indicated that I was not the only one. There were others. Women are coming forward, sharing that they were sexually abused and assaulted by Cesar when they were girls and teenagers. The knowledge that he hurt young girls sickens me. My heart aches for everyone who suffered alone and in silence for years. There are no words strong enough to condemn those deplorable actions that he did. Cesar's actions do not reflect the values of our community and our movement. The farm worker movement has always been bigger and far more important than any one individual. Cesar's actions do not diminish the permanent improvements achieved for farm workers with the help of thousands of people. We must continue to engage and support our community, which needs advocacy and activism now more than ever. I will continue my commitments to workers as well as my commitment to women's rights to make sure we have a voice and that our communities are treated with dignity and given the equality that we have so long been denied. I've kept this streak long enough. My silence ends here. I don't know. I really don't feel like being in a position of judging. I really don't. It is what it is. A man's legacy is destroyed. I don't think anyone's opinion of Cesar Chavez. Well, I don't know. I can't speak for the Latino community. I don't know how they feel. I know how I felt when I learned at an early age, long before I went to Morehouse College. I was in like 8th or 9th grade when I overheard a discussion with my dad and some of his friends talking about how Dr. King was unfaithful to Coretta. They were talking about Harry Belafonte and how she had been unfaithful to him and why, and but I know how I felt. I felt betrayed. I felt that had it been well known at that time, which it wasn't, it would have absolutely watered down his legacy. Fortunately, it slipped out more and more later as we got into history, when people were more accepting of such things, because it happened again and again and again with prominent leaders, particularly Bill Clinton in the White House. And we've all known about John Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson, et cetera. But like I said at the top of the show, there is a line. Are we late again? We'll take a quick time out and come back, and we'll get back at this. We've got some other things to get into as well. We've got a bunch of guests to talk to. We'll talk with Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne right after the break. Then Howard Marcus at 4 o'clock as per usual, and we'll meet Cheryl Scott from DC in the 5. I'd stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Iranian state media says Israel has attacked Iran's South Part gas field, part of the largest in the world. It's shared with Qatar to the south across the Persian Gulf. The Iran war has dealt a massive energy shock to the global economy by choking off exports of crude oil and liquefied natural gas that run through the Strait of Hormuz. In the case of South Pars, the energy shock would appear to have a different target, not Iran's exports, but its domestic energy supplies. Pakistan and Afghanistan have declared a temporary pause in escalating fighting. The announcements come 2 days after Afghanistan blamed Pakistan for a deadly airstrike in Kabul. Officials say more than 24 cars of a Union Pacific train derailed this morning in a Texas town near Houston, causing an ethanol leak, but was not a threat to the public. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. The sentence that was handed Freddie Rivera of Delano Tuesday afternoon was 21 years for the crime of voluntary manslaughter in the shooting in 2023 at Yokuts Park of gay rights activist David Landeros. Rivera was initially charged with first-degree murder, but because of circumstances, that was reduced to voluntary manslaughter. The Kern County Grand Jury report says non-permitted food vendors are a risk to people in Kern County, some even linked with organized crime. The report says more of the trucks and vendors are coming because of the lack of food safety inspectors, and that the county should do what it takes to correct that and hire more inspectors, including studying the pay. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It's that man again for Sangera Subaru and a Subaru A Lot to Love event going on now through March 31st at Sangera Subaru. And of course, spring is the best time to get an incredible offer on that new Subaru you've been waiting for, like a 2026 Forester CVT. Lease one now for only $179 a month for 36 months and just $5,000 due at signing. And remember, every Subaru always comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. And don't forget, this offer ends March 31st. So stop by and see my good friends Damon Culbertson, Hassan Levy, and all the guys during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Pick out your new Subaru for spring and hit the open road. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community at 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersville Auto Mall, 24/7 at sangerasubaru.com.
Through March 31st, 2026, lease a 2026 Forester CVT for $179 a month on a 36-month lease. $5,000 due at lease signing plus tax and license. Zero security deposit. 7,500 mile year limit. 15 cent per mile overage. MSRP $32,183. VIN number T3030467. Product code TFB-01.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, we won't have Dr. Corey here because he told me he's getting a perm. But as a certified life coach, I feel like I'm qualified to fill in that space.
Yeah?
There's a lot of cool stuff and crazy stuff going on in the news. State-of-the-art news, traffic, and yes, weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 right here in News Talk 96.1, streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
help from you. Sound like the drums. Bring in my heart. The fun of the guns.
It's a Wednesday. So, owner operators of Adaptive Networks, our IT company, should be yours as well. Call them at 661-241-0638 or head them online at adaptive-net.com. Live in studio, Jennifer and Ryan Van.
Oh, what's
As you solved our color scheme problem, all other problems around here for AGM as a client. Tell us about Techflation.
Yeah, so there's an interesting market right now. I'm sure many out there may have seen costs of computers, servers are on the rise very rapidly. There's some interesting reasons for that. But if your audience needs computers, needs servers, do it now, do it soon. There may be a very bear market for hardware in the not so distant future.
Is that linked to international affairs?
Yeah, I mean,
really?
not particularly. I mean, it's linked directly to AI and the surge in demand for AI and the components that go with that. And there's just a massive shortage. So unfortunately, for some of these things globally, you can't just bring supply online overnight. There are capacities, and when we go beyond the production capacity, prices go up and availability goes down. So that's kind of where the markets are right now. We've seen laptops, desktops, servers just double in price overnight. Double.
Really?
100% increase in price overnight. So
from like what to what? What are we talking about?
The other day I looked at a laptop that was $1,300 and it doubled to $3,200 the next day.
Shut up.
Yeah.
More than doubled. Then.
Crazy.
Yeah, I guess more than double. Yeah. So the manufacturers are trying to push inventory out right now. So if they have stock, they are putting sales on and off and getting them down. So luckily we can still get some things on sale at a better price. But that's only going to last as long as they're able to get the components. So once the components dry up and there's just too much demand and not enough supply, those prices will stabilize at the higher price and stick there probably for a while.
Wow. So AI is just absolutely dominating the
It's
planet
just
right now.
eating everything up. It's eating everything up. It's eating up power. It's eating up memory.
Yeah,
it's eating up
communities are
storage.
in trouble. I was watching that just recently on
It's
the
wild,
news.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking about putting like mini nuclear power plants like right next to these AI facilities because they can't get the power from the grid.
Right.
We thought it was hard just to electrify California enough for, the EV that we currently have or that we're looking to put. And then you put a data center on that. I mean, the amount of power consumption is absolutely insane what these data centers are pulling because they're running 24/7 max output the whole time. So their draw is sustained and at maximum 24/7, 365. They don't stop.
With warehouses the size of an Amazon building.
Or
And
larger.
Just nothing but, and nothing but
Our
computers.
Amazon building would be small compared
that
to
right?
the data center campus. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're huge. They are huge. They're building them like crazy right now.
That's insane. So what are you telling small business owners now?
If you were thinking about going to the cloud, now's a good time to do it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting hardware servers is extremely expensive right now. We're kind of looking at it as a bubble. We don't really see it lasting too long, but definitely lasting a while. Trying to get the memory. It's all these companies that make the memory. Ryan can explain all the technicalities of it. But all the companies that make the memory are going, selling it all to AI. And so there's a big shortage of those memories for the servers and for your desktops and things like that. So.
And then how do you guys step in?
We step in by finding inventory where we can, getting supplies. So we've had to get creative. We're pulling in additional distributors to get supplies. Lead times are increasing, but there is still availability. I feel like by probably Q3, Q4, that's going to start to dry up.
Yeah.
So we can see some of the behaviors of like HP, Dell, Lenovo, kind of your big players. They're selling stuff below market so that they can kind of cut out the middlemen right now and just get inventory out because they're trying to get some profits in these quarters. They got shareholders and investors and all that. So they're trying to make them happy, make a couple quarters that look good. So it'll kind of soften the blow that's likely to come later this year and probably into 2027. So as long as that AI demand keeps where it's at, the supplies are going to be very limited.
Looking to the future, we're talking with Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne, owner operators of Adaptive Networks. Call them today at 661-241-0638. Look into the future and blow us away when we're talking about AI. Like, what are we talking about? Like, we all have, at least me, because I'm, got the technological brain of a ninth grader, but we just think of the robots and blah, 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 blah. But talk about where we're really headed in terms of maybe putting people out of jobs and stuff like that.
I don't think it's going to put as many people out of jobs as some people out there saying. Jobs will obviously transform. I mean, we can look at the advent of the internet. People didn't stop having jobs. They just had different jobs, and there were different jobs that were created out of that as well. So it's definitely going to change, what we do. AI is going to do more of the, tedious tasks, and will continue to do that. That will be where companies will definitely, make those investments.
And that's a positive.
It's a positive. It's a positive.
Yeah.
Because it helps keep costs lower if we can not have to have, people doing the things that, honestly, some of the things people don't want to do anyways, some of the tedious or just repetitive tasks, and focus on more of the, the knowledge work in the business. Where I think it's going is, I think AI is going to have to go to a point where it stabilizes out, and to a point that it as a whole is profitable. The problem with it is there's a whole lot of hype about AI, and there has to be hype because there's, like $500 billion that's been invested into AI here recently. And these companies aren't making money. The big companies are not actually making money. They're losing money. And with each subsequent AI model that we come out with, the resource consumption is exponentially more than the last one. So we haven't figured out a way to make a better model that uses the same or less resource. So that can't continue forever and be sustainable and be at the same cost that it's been. So at some point, this is going to have to figure out, where it kind of settles in, where the AI is, until there's some kind of technological advance that allows us to do the same thing we're doing with significantly less resource.
That's amazing.
It's just not there.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I would have thought that they were making money hand over fist.
No.
That is interesting.
There's money being invested hand over fist. But,
Yeah.
As we well know, you can invest a lot into something and still not make a return right away, or not quite be profitable where it should be.
And feeling pretty confident that inevitably that's going to pay off.
Well, I can tell you, the guys that make memory, the companies that are producing the memory, which has the massive shortage, they have no intentions of building new facilities to produce more of it. So they're betting on a bubble. So if the guys making the component are betting on a bubble, I'm pretty confident there's a bubble.
Yeah.
So AI is not going away. I mean, don't kid yourself that it's going to disappear. It won't, but it will look different than it's like the gold rush. It's just a modern day gold rush.
Yeah.
At some point, there's way more miners than there is gold to go around, and we're in the same thing with AI. It's going to have to figure itself out.
It's like a new restaurant in Bakersfield.
There you go.
For 9 months, it's the hottest thing in the world. Yep. You can't get a seat. You're sitting outside waiting. And then around that 10th, 11th month, it kind of slows down, and then it closes after a year and a half.
Yeah. You go back to Old Faithful.
Yeah,
Casey.
exactly.
Casey.
Steakhouse. Nice illusion. Nice illusion.
But like Ryan said, I think that people ultimately, they kind of get desensitized to it. And at the end of the day, people want to interact with people. It's we have AI to, automations and machines. That's always been the fear, taking over, and it's already replaced a lot of jobs. Look at the ag industry. Machines have replaced a lot of jobs, and it's any business or any industry you look at it, and what's always the highest cost of a business is employees. And so business people are always looking at ways to, how can we replace this cost,
Health insurance, severance,
yeah,
sick leave, etc.
everything. And
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, you go to a drive-through nowadays and you have AI taking your order, and they
Which
do a
I
pretty,
hate.
You hate it, okay, some of them
It's
do a
so
better
slow.
job.
It's so slow.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
Yeah, or you punch in your order at McDonald's or wherever you're going, and it's AI's just taking new jobs, but there's still going to be jobs you have to fix. There has to be somebody to be able to fix it. There's got to be,
Right.
So there's still, it's just going to look different.
Yeah.
Like I always tell people, we talk about, on-premise servers or the cloud. I'm like, Netflix used to mail you DVDs in the mail, and now you stream. I mean, it's just where technology's going.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Talking with Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne. Last words before I let you guys go. Anything you want to talk to your clients or would-be clients?
Just if you are looking to replace hardware, if you are looking to do any moves this year, do them early. You won't regret it.
Yes. What was the term again?
Techflation.
Techflation.
And if you don't have an IT partner you can trust, give us a call at 661-241-0638.
Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne at Adaptive Networks, our IT team. Quick time out. And our friend Howard Marcus, former federal agent, joins us at the top of the hour. Coming up in the 5, we're going to meet Cheryl Scott from Bakersfield College to tell you about the Sterling Silver Dinner over the weekend. And I got some miscellaneous news and notes. We'll talk about the SAVE Act, day 2 of the debate in the United States Senate. Rand Paul is an absolute no on confirming Mark Wayne Mullins. It's a personal thing that I'll explain, and you'll hear from the Kentucky senator. It's pretty good stuff. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. That was good. That was really good. That was really
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Are you serious right now? You certainly don't go by first lady. You choose first partner. And you're going to talk to us about protecting women? You want to talk about protecting women? Let's start with our girls right here in the state of California and protecting them in sports. You want us to ask questions about women and protecting women? How about that question?
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Every Thursday at 4:30, Daniel Petrie lightens up the broadcast with his incredible wit, pure intelligence, political knowledge, and obviously an absolute master of economics. That's why he's such an important cog on this broadcast. And you can hear him even on some of his off days when there are financial movements that we can't explain. We lean on my man from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. And of course, you know what they're all about. They're all about retirement. I've turned at least 3 or 4 different people on to Messmaker Petrie Wealth Advisors, and they could not be happier. You could be happy as well with your situation in terms of the fourth quarter in your life if you call 395-9400, 395-9400, the offices of Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice or a solicitation for advisory services by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program host is a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertisement, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert, or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry. This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jack.com/149.
Taylor Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw slow. Then she found GoodRx.
Yes,
She's in the know.
GLP-1 prescriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's GoodRx. The no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Carpet Outlet Plus.
Every day is sale day.
Right on it.
No one can beat us. No one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare. We don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Carpet Outlet Plus is celebrating 30 years in business by offering you no interest financing for 12 months. Head over to carpetoutletplus.com to apply now. You can get new waterproof flooring and comfy carpet in the bedrooms, all from one trusted place. Over 70,000 customers can't be wrong. It's probably been time to change your floors for a while, so call, click, or stop by today. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I want to thank Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne, owner-operators of Adaptive Networks. Provides all of our IT service. Call them at 661-241-0638. So my chicken marsala from Bonnie's Best was above average. Wasn't bad. It was I went and I had a blood test the other day, and I was walking home and was walking by Bonnie's Best, and I normally Uber eat the brown bread egg salad sandwich, which is good for me because the brown bread is even better than wheat bread, and egg salad's good for. I didn't find out what my A1C was, but anyway, so I got the dinner. It's a chicken marsala that comes in a package. You just throw it in the microwave for about 3 minutes, and it had the wild rice and mushrooms and not green beans, but green string beans and chicken, and this like creamy sauce. It was a little too much sauce, but it was pretty good. Wasn't bad. I don't know if I'd put it in my permanent rotation. And as I'm sure we'll talk more at the top of the hour when we talk with Howard, because he's kind of going through the same thing, I got the results of my blood test. And after working so hard to find out what my A1C was, that wasn't even part of the blood test. So all the work I've done to try to keep my A1C down, I won't find out again until a couple of months. But there's good news, there's bad news. The good news is my PSA fell to 3.8 from a 4.3, which is good news. It's below the dreaded, or I don't know if the word dreaded is accurate, but kind of one of the benchmarks, the 4.0. And even if you're a little bit 4.0, it doesn't necessarily mean you have prostate cancer. But at the same time, just because you're below 4.0 doesn't mean that you don't have prostate cancer. And I am lucky that Dr. Hemel Kathri is kind of thorough. And he said, I don't like it. I don't like it. And I want to follow up on this. So I'm going in next Wednesday for an MRI, and we'll take it from there. And that's about all I know. And after that, it could lead to biopsy or radiation. I am certainly praying for radiation after talking with Howard about this last week, and he's describing, and now others who I've talked to, describing how painful a biopsy is. I don't think at this juncture I would have to go through that. But it was just kind of a good news, bad news thing. And I always kind of figured that, you know, like even if it goes down, how do we know that means something? Because it went down the last time I was on antibiotics. As if you remember, what is troubling Kathri and why he's being persistent about this, because just 13 months ago, I was down at about a 2.5. And then all of a sudden it jumped to a 3.7. And he put me on antibiotics, and it went back down to a 2.7. But he wanted to be thorough, and we double checked it again, and it jumped all the way to a 4.3. And I had a recent blood test down to a 3.8, but we're going to do the MRI next week just to be thorough about this. So I'm excited that we're nearing the end, no matter what the situation is. And I don't mean that fatalistically. I just mean figuring out what to do one way or the other. You know, whether it's going to be a radiation, whether it's going to be a biopsy, or if it's nothing. And he keeps stressing what I'm sitting on. And
That is interesting.
I'm not even sitting on, I am sitting on a thing. He keeps asking me what I'm sitting on. And I just don't know, it's a cushion. And so he says he thinks I should go to a pharmacy and get the donut, the full-blown donut. And I'm like, I mean, I lay around the house during the day. I'm not really even upright when I'm doing the show. And I only sit here from 3:02 to 6:02. Most people have like 5-6 hour sitting on their arse jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Hell, you sit longer in the day than I do. You sit from 7 to 9.
Yep.
And you sit from 2 to 6.
Yep.
It almost doubles the time I sit. Now, granted, I'm old enough to be your damn grandfather, but that's beside the point. 842-5376, our phone number, 842-KERN. Our good friend and former federal agent Howard Marcus joins us at the top of the hour. And we got a phone call. Who you got?
Dave is on the line.
Dave, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
How are you doing? How did all your tests come out? I haven't heard.
I just rattled it off, Dave. My PSA fell from a 4.3 to a 3.8, but I'm going to have an MRI done next week.
Okay, good. Well, don't let anything worry you. You're a strong man,
Thank you, Dave.
and my prayers will be with you. I'll put you on my prayer list with all my prayer warriors.
I
okay?
appreciate that. As my mother always says, you always need a little divine intervention.
There you go. So I heard you had something going on with your feet acting up again, or what happened?
Yeah, I had a little gout bout over the weekend. Still having a little pain, but I'm fine. I'll be ready to go this weekend, and certainly by Monday for the 4th annual Honor Flight Open.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, excited. I'm going to play
Good,
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Man, you're a glutton for punishment.
Well, I haven't played in a while. I haven't played in the 2 weekends straight. I have not played one hole of golf. So I need to get out there and swing the golf club a little bit.
The weather's going to be perfect.
Yeah, plus I don't want to make a jerk of myself in my own tournament. It's the first time I played in our own tournament. I don't want to make a jerk of myself.
Yeah, because you've been sitting at one of the holes.
Yeah, just hitting shots for the fellas the first 3 years. Yeah. This year I'm playing with the general manager at ABC 23 and one of his salespeople, and Mr. Mike Turnipseed, who'll be with us tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right, man.
Good. Hey, just wanted to check.
I appreciate that.
Hope you feel better.
I'm great. I'm fine. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, you too. 842-5376, Mark Swain. Mark Swain, where are you? Believe it when I see it. That's what Mark says. I don't blame you. I'm guilty. I'm good for the crime. Good for the crime. And I used to live by the you never blow a tee time. You never blow a tee time. But there was no way I could have played this weekend just out of my pain. And the weekend before, I forget why I missed last Sunday. Did I oversleep? Did we switch times last Sunday? I think I overslept last night. But this past Sunday, I couldn't even, no, there's no way I could have turned on. I still have pain when I walk, to be honest with you. I was off the allopurinol. That's weird. I was off the allopurinol for like 3 days, and bang, it hit.
Been sitting there waiting for you.
Isn't that crazy? It's as if my body just naturally produces uric acid because I haven't eaten anything controversial lately. My diet stays, as you know, Chris, my diet is pretty damn consistent. I go to Coconut Joe's. I go to El Pollo Loco. I eat a little fish from Bento Sushi. During the week, that's how I eat. Kind of expanded over the weekends when I go out and stuff. A little Mexicali, a little Belize. Ooh, I had Belize the other night. Did I tell you that? I had the Kung Pao chicken. Oh, hadn't eaten in a long time. Let's read a text message before we head up the hill and talk to Howard.
Ralph, do you believe Dolores Huerta?
Why would she lie? You think she's lying? I have no reason to think that this woman would create such a lie and make up 2 existing children that she says has a relationship with her biological children, although I guess they're her biological children as well. But why in the world would you even conceive that she would make up such a lie? And I don't even know if that, see, my jaw sometimes just goes wacky on me. I don't even know if her end of this story is even relevant. The Times has been working on this for over a year. They have two local women right here from Bakersfield who are the lead stories, the lead characters, and have openly discussed it and allowed their names to be attributed. They're a little older than I am. I think one of them is 66. So Dolores Huerta only solidifies what we already know. So why she would make up this ridiculous, incredible story doesn't seem very logical. As we head up the hill, talk with somebody very logical, our good friend Howard Marcus joins us next.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm John Scott. Dozens of ships slipping through the Strait of Hormuz as Iran's oil exports get through.
About 90 ships, including oil tankers, have crossed the Strait of Hormuz since the beginning of the war with Iran. Maritime and trade data platforms report it's still exporting millions of barrels of oil at a time, when it says it's closed the key waterway for vessels of the US and its allies. And analysts say Iranian oil export volumes remain resilient. Many of the vessels that have passed through the strait are so-called dark transits, evading Western sanctions that likely have ties with Iran. More recently, vessels with ties to India and Pakistan have also successfully crossed the strait. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The Iran war has rattled the global flow of oil, with steeper fuel costs already straining households worldwide. In the U.S., drivers facing the highest prices they've seen at the pump in 2.5 years. Vice President Vance says he knows high gas prices are a big issue.
We are fighting against it, and we promise that when this conflict draws to a close, when this operation draws to a close, we're going to see those energy prices come back down to reality, because that's what the president promised to do. He delivered an energy-dominant agenda. It's made us much more secure in the face of these things. But yeah, we got a rough road ahead of us for the next few weeks, but it's temporary.
According to Motor Club AAA, the national average for a gallon of regular jumped to over $3.84, up from $2.98 consumers were paying before the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran. Iran and Russia have both alleged that a projectile struck the grounds of the Bushehr nuclear power plant in the Islamic Republic, raising the specter of a radiological incident. Neither Iran nor Russia, though, say there was any release of nuclear material. More at townhall.com.
They say timing is everything in the gold and silver markets, and it's true. Dennis Prager here for AmFed Coin and Bullion. Although you can buy at the right time, if you buy the wrong coins, you may not make a profit. When gold was $400 an ounce, many people were talked into buying high-grade old gold and silver collector's coins. Unfortunately, most of the people who bought these so-called semi-numismatic coins, like the $20 St. Gordon's and Liberty Head gold coins, have not broken even on their investment. Incredible, given that gold has risen approximately 525% since then. So while timing is everything, if you buy the wrong coins, the timing simply doesn't matter. Having a dealer who cares about positioning you in the right types of coins or bullion will mean more to your portfolio than anything else. That's why I deal with Nick Rovich and AmFed Coin and Bullion. Whether you're buying or selling, call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. Or go to AmericanFederal.com, AmericanFederal.com.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Airport troubles and how that could affect you. I'm Chris Davis. That is because of the partial government shutdown, which includes Homeland Security, which includes TSA, which provides security at airports, and who have missed their first full paycheck, causing some people not to come in. Smaller airports like Bakersfield's Meadowfields could be shut down if there is no security, says TSA. So far, that has not happened, and while some airports are having a tough time, things have been going smoothly so far here. But the other government trouble is the conflict with Iran, which has been responsible for sending gas prices straight up, which has affected California disproportionately because of our already higher than everywhere else gas prices. That price today is up another penny at $5.55 on average for regular, says Gas Buddy. The closest to us in price is Washington, and that has now finally gone over $5 per gallon. A truck goes off the side of Highway 178 and down an embankment about 30 feet, says the Highway Patrol. That mishap happened Tuesday afternoon about 5 p.m. in the Kern River Canyon. But even though the truck's descent was steep and 3 people were inside it when it came to rest, none of those people were hurt, and they all managed to climb up the side of the embankment, says the Highway Patrol. Some people believe the 21-year sentence for Freddie Rivera of Delano given Tuesday afternoon for the September 2023 killing of gay rights activist David Landeros, which happened during a fight in Yokuts Park, was too lenient. The sentence does fit the charge, but Landeros' family members say not the crime. The charge against Rivera was reduced to voluntary manslaughter from first-degree murder, and he was sentenced accordingly. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think this is, the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 18th day of March. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com. We still got lots to do. We'll get into the fallout between Commonwealth Senator Rand Paul and Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullins. His confirmation hearing began. The latter senator from Oklahoma trying to succeed Kristi Noem, while Democrats are mounting an investigation into perjury charges against Kristi Noem, and I think they've got a pretty damn good case. But we'll explain why there are bad feelings between Rand Paul and Markwayne Mullins. You'll hear from the Kentucky senator. We'll get into the Save America Act. We're going to even discuss that with our next guest. And then coming up at the 5, Cheryl Scott from Bakersfield College will join us. And I've got some other miscellaneous news and notes. Maybe get you caught up on the Kevin May situation, the former CSU basketball player who is almost certain to face trial. His preliminary hearing is going on as well, not as we speak, literally, but it went on today. I think it was day 2. He's being represented by David Torres. And I think it's safe to say it's going to go to trial. That's what a preliminary hearing is all about, where you don't present all of your evidence, just enough to take it to trial. And I don't think anybody testifies in that. I mean, detectives can, etc., but the defense certainly would not. In the meantime, how are you, Howard?
Not bad. You know, every time I'm down, I just put on Rat Pack on Spotify Mix and brightens everything up.
It really does lift the spirits. How are you? How are you literally?
Well, we'll see. Weird symptoms that are nothing good, so we'll see.
Yeah. Still no word though?
Well, there was a mistake in the procedure prep.
Yeah, we heard that part.
Yeah, so April 13th.
Oh, so you still got time. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know almost right away. I already know what it's going to be. It's okay.
I'm facing an MRI next Wednesday.
I had that already, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm having the biopsy.
And after the MRI, they determined you needed to have the biopsy?
Did you have a PSA and a PSI? Ask your doctor.
No, I don't think so. I think I just had the PSI.
PSI is an overall, the problem with PSA, it goes up and down. Without getting into it's off subject, but that's why they don't do the finger wave anymore, because it actually can generate a false PSA number.
Right.
They used to do the rubber glove routine. They don't do that anymore. That's why the blood work replaced it. So the PSAs are kind of indicators, and they can go up. I was told, believe it or not, as high as 1,000, which is insane. But they're up to 50, and so
that's crazy.
They theoretically go up and down. But like you already know, when it goes over 4, you're concerned. The PSI is the actual cancer potential indicator, and that's a part of your blood work. So you might want to check into that and see if they have it, if they actually did that test.
Well,
mine was 70% positive, which is not good.
Why wouldn't have Dr. Cothery brought that up with me? My PSI.
I don't. Well, if your PSA is really low, and yours went down, maybe
it went down to a 3.8.
Yeah, you're
from a 4.3.
So maybe mine's just going up and up. So
yours just continues to go up.
Yeah, oh yeah, 0 to 4 to 9, etc. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, mine is.
It's going to be what's going to be. But look, the worst part I had was my doctor goes, you can live with this for years. I went, I don't want to hear that. That's not what you want to hear from your doctor.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyways, that's I'm just going to deal with it. It's going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Mary went through breast cancer like a champ, and I'm so impressed by her attitude.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And half my, look, you get old enough. If you're a guy, and everybody listening, if you're over 40, over 50, more likely over 50, especially over 60, you're going to have prostate issues.
Yeah, most
whether
likely.
It's cancer or just enlarged prostate or whatever. It just is what it is.
And the only way to combat it and to survive and live a long life is to catch it early. And the only way to catch it early is to see a physician 2, 3, 4 times a year.
As you've always said, know your numbers.
Yep, got to know your numbers. Absolutely have to know your numbers.
Yeah. So it's going to be what's going to be. I'm pretty accepting of the results, regardless of what they are.
Yep, that's how I'm trying to approach this as well.
You're just going down. That's a good sign. That is.
Yeah, but I'm not out of the woods yet. But
no, the MRI. What the MRI is going to look for is actual abnormalities in because if it's actually like tumors and stuff, it'll show up in the MRI. I mean, in other words, obviously something really wrong. Obviously wrong. It will show up in the MRI.
Right.
Theoretically. So.
Right. Okay. There is so much.
Everybody.
No. This is good information, particularly for a male audience.
Yeah, talk to Dr. Cothery about the PSI. See what he says. He probably didn't need it. He's probably right.
Yeah. There's so much on the table, Howard. Where do you want to begin?
I don't want to talk about the new Trump towers being built on Carg Island.
Very funny. Very funny.
Oh yeah.
What else you got? You want to talk about the what are they? The GPL 2,000-pound bombs, the bunker beaters, or whatever the hell they're called.
5,000 pounds. 5,000 pounds.
5,000 pounds. Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, they're designed. We've had these actually something like this almost since World War II. They use this in Saint Nazaire for the submarine pens. They're under like 20 feet of concrete. So we've had bunker busters since World War II. Different ideas, and obviously not nearly as lethal. But the problem they have in the nuclear inspection team from the UN, the head of the team, said the problem is the uranium is buried so deep that bunker busters probably won't even get to it. If you put it in a mine shaft, say 500 feet down, you can't get to it. It's just pure and simple.
Right.
And then the scenarios are, unfortunately, you have to either go in and get it, or basically, with a commando raid or something equivalent, or you're going to have to deal with the infrastructure such that even if they recover it, they can't do anything with it. The problem is it's very simple to build a dirty bomb with just the raw material.
Right. There's no way. Do you see American men and women being involved with an Israeli boots on the ground strike?
No, the Israelis will have to go in. I think, we haven't really talked about this. There's a Marine Expeditionary Force of 3,500 right now that are about 10 days out.
Yeah,
I can guarantee without my crystal ball, they're going to take out and occupy Carg Island. That's doable. They've taken out all military infrastructure on the island.
Explain what Carg Island is.
It's about 30 miles plus offshore. It's a very small island. It is their main offloading and loading port for all the oil coming out of and natural gas coming out of Iran. And we specifically did not target the oil infrastructure itself, just the military stuff. And when you take that is 60. I read the numbers. It's like 60% of the entire economy's income comes from the oil. Carg Island. It will completely cripple them. And the good news is, such as it is the main recipients of that oil have been Russia and China. So it's almost like a third level chess set where we're playing, where our bad guys get hurt and we don't. We're a net oil exporter. We don't need any of the stuff that goes to the Strait of Hormuz. The naysayers in Europe do need it, which is kind of silly why they're not willing to escort their own tankers.
Right.
But the reality of it is it's a very small island. It's going to be easy to occupy. Currently, the last I checked, they were also taking out some anti-shipping sites opposite on Iran itself. And what's going to, it doesn't take a genius to say 3,500 Marines is not enough for a land invasion of Iran, but it's plenty to take out the island and occupy it briefly. And
won't they bombard it
the
with?
Iranians of it.
Won't they bombard it with drones and defend it with all their might? Because I mean, you're talking about a jugular attack.
Well, they say the ballistic missiles are down 90%. The drones are down about 80% as far as launching. They say the problem the Iranians got now is every time they try and launch something, we destroy the launch site. And I literally just read that the Ukrainians just brought in 200 plus Ukrainian experts in counter drone warfare in the area.
So then, what would be the end game? Who would occupy the island?
Well, I think it's a negotiating point. I think it's impractical to say that we're going to completely occupy Iran. That's never going to happen. Political suicide for Trump. We can't send ground troops in,
or even Karg Island, for that matter. That's why I asked the question.
Brief, and we'd have to have justification for it. And we can't stay there.
No.
And I think that's just to prove the point. I think it's a chip on the table to bargain with. If we cut off their economy is already collapsing. People don't realize the horrendous problems they're having even prior to this. The main city, in Tehran, is actually out of water. They're going to have to evacuate the entire capital city. They actually have completely depleted the water supply in the region, which is why Israel, prior to all this, actually made an amazing offer to actually help them with their infrastructure with the water. Obviously, prior to all this happening, they've got their own internal problems. Even their economy's collapsed. Their currency is worth nothing. They're trying to use cryptocurrency now. The IRGC officials, which is the hardcore guys, they've been tracking them moving millions out of the country. They're trying to basically have the equivalent of a Swiss bank account. The writing is kind of on the wall. The problem, and every time they have somebody nominated to a position, the Israelis kill them. We're not killing them, by the way. The Israelis are.
Yeah.
They're still dealing with military targets.
But there's still the issue of boys and girls dying in an occupation, even a minor occupation of Karg Island. And, the Democratic liberal media will be all over that. There'll be a body count. In fact, they were clocking the 6 that were brought back home today.
Yeah, I brought the numbers up some time prior that we talked. In peacetime, we have about 1.8 million, I think, in our military. Without any terrorist action, without any activity, we lose about 800 service people a year.
Right.
Just accidents, things like that. 6, and I do not denigrate people that have sacrificed for this country, but the risk when you take the job. You are paid commensurately. It is not a librarian. It is not a cook. It is a frontline combat job, and there are inherent risks in that job, and you accept that when you accept the uniform. And I'm not denigrating it at all, but I'm just saying that is a potentiality. And the problem is that we shy away from those risks. We're merely going to give the Iranians the time and the wherewithal to attack us again. We have to accept that there's going to be some collateral damage, as there was at that one school with 100 kids, and that we're going to lose some service members. We just lost, outside of Iran entirely, that tanker that went down in western Iraq. We had 6 more lost there.
Yeah. What do you think of Joe Kent, who just resigned from the administration, insisting that this was an Israeli war?
He's a poorly disguised deep swamp. They displayed his tweet from 2020. His tweet saying we have to take out Iran's ballistic missiles, and we called for that in his confirmation. I just think that I think the idea about leaking and the fact that he was held out of meetings is very easy to prove. When they have those meetings, they log in everybody that's there. Their internal records who's present. If you can show, and I think they can if they really want to, that he has been present for months at any of the meetings, he was intel briefings, it kind of proves their point. He was out of the loop. He may have been in a holding pattern where they decide what to do with him or trying to determine if the leaks are actual. But I think that's another case of It's like a John Bolton idea. Then all of a sudden he's rah, rah, rah when he gets his way, but all of a sudden he turns into an anti-Trump guy.
Well, I think one of the real questions is what is he doing in the administration at all? He's a lunatic anti-Semitic who is pals with Nick Fuentes. And
And he ran as a Dem, by the way. He converted the Republican train, so to speak.
yeah, so why is he even in the administration? It's just part of my criticism of this entire cabinet.
It's hard to have as many people as you have in administration and not have some slip through the cracks. Either they were already in a position or they were nominated for a position, and still it's hard to vet everybody all at once. You have hundreds of positions. I think sometimes they just get through. This guy is kind of a Tucker Carlson, Candace Owen kind of thing, or these horrible anti-Semitic things he said. The classic, the Jewish lobby, the classic that Washington jumps when Israel says how high, when they've got tapes of Trump back as far as 1988 saying Iran cannot have nukes.
Yeah.
Before he ran for president.
Right.
You can't, before the Israelis were even involved. So the reality of it is that you're going to have these guys popping up from time to time. Who would have thought that 5 years ago, when Tucker was on Fox, he was going to turn into what he did, or Candace Owen when she was appearing with Charlie Kirk.
Right. I got to leave you with this. Two quick ones. Is Markwayne Mullins going to be confirmed?
I think
he got into it with Rand Paul. They have a personal thing. Rand Paul says that Markwayne Mullins has an anger issue, that he's an angry guy. He pointed to the fight he almost got into with the Teamsters head. And I guess he rooted for Rand Paul when Rand Paul got attacked and had broken ribs, and he kind of gloated at that fact. Is he going to get confirmed?
I think so. You got to remember, Rand Paul is as squirrely as a horrible hairdo.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. I think he's going to be, but you never know in Washington.
Yeah. What about Save America?
I think it's going to pass. They can get by the filibuster with what's called the floor vote, a verbal one, where they don't have to have 60 votes.
No, they can't do it. It's got to go to 60, and they don't have 60.
No. Well, there's a way around it. That's what they're doing now. They're trying to get to.
They're trying, but they're not. It's not going to happen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So they've got to cut. Fetterman was willing to cut him a deal, and they got to take his plan. They've got to drop out the non-Save America stuff. The trans surgery bans and all that stuff. They're going to strip out all the junk that they tried to load into it, make it just voter ID, and then they'll probably get it through. That was Fetterman's proposal, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They're smart enough to do it. If they don't,
mail-in balloting is involved as well. That's a sticking
they got to
point.
strip that junk. They got to strip that junk out.
Yeah, we'll see. Always good to talk to you, Howard. Say hello to Mary. We'll wrap to you next Thursday, or Wednesday, Monday.
This weekend, enjoy the weather.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
All righty.
Howard Marcus. Quick timeout. We'll check the board. Bottom of the hour. You will hear from the aforementioned senator from the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Dr. Rand Paul. Bottom of the hour. Top of the hour in the 5, we'll talk with Cheryl Scott from Bakersfield College. Got some other miscellaneous news and notes, some other audio I've got on my telephone. We've got all kind of things going on until 6 o'clock when the Scott Jennings Show comes on. As well, you should hang on. Keep it locked. On News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KRN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, we won't have Dr. Corey here because he told me he's getting a perm. But as a certified life coach, I feel like I'm qualified to fill in that space. There's a lot of cool stuff and crazy stuff going on in the news, state-of-the-art news, traffic, and yes, weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 right here at News Talk 96.1, streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9069. 800-525-9069. 800-525-9069.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. If you're struggling with mental health, you should know that there are resources out there that can help. And it's okay to talk about it if you need to. One place to get started with information is loveyourmindtoday.org. Loveyourmindtoday.org offers a range of guides, instructions, and insights for dealing with difficult situations or getting through a tough time. If you're struggling with mental health, get the help you need, because most people out here really care. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Laughing all our cares away, just you and I.
So I may have been a little inaccurate when I told you that Mark Wayne Mullins was going to sail through. Coming up after the break, you will hear from Rand Paul, and he kind of breaks down the personal animus he has for the Oklahoma senator and why he is threatening to derail his, what everybody thought, certainly I, would be a pretty simple confirmation hearing. In the meantime, let's check the board real quick, see what you guys are talking about before we get to it. What do you got?
Let's see. This first one says Howard is incorrect. California import oil, gasoline, etc. So U.S. is a net exporter. Save California.
Exporter,
I believe. Yeah.
yeah. What we produce really doesn't matter. Whatever we produce does not impact the global market. It just doesn't. That emanates, unfortunately, from the Middle East. So it goes. And right now, the last I saw was $1.10 a barrel, which is, that clock that's on the wall for the Trump administration in terms of epic fury just got sped up just a little bit. And as I've explained, I think we can weather the storm, so to speak, but as we get closer and closer to summer, vacations, visiting grandparents, graduations going all over the nation, and people start to fly, and you still need petrol for planes. And when the price of airfare goes up, then I think you're going to find it's intolerable. And I think at that point, there's going to be gargantuan pressure on the Republican Party, and it could seal the fate for the midterms. If this thing, as I've said from the very beginning, lingers into the fall, if we're still involved in Iran directly in October, September, that would be absolutely devastating. Absolutely devastating. I mean, there's no way in the world, even if it's going well, which it is, That's the crazy thing. The operation itself is going well. The problem is that Trump can't play it straight. He won't simply tell the ungarnished truth. And there are mixed messages coming out of the White House, that are coming out of the State Department, that are coming out of the Secretary of Defense's office in the Pentagon. And that's problematic for other world leaders and it doesn't matter for the Democratic Party, because this thing could be a slam dunk and they'd find a way to criticize it, and they will. But overall, I think the operation is going well. I don't see how we're going to occupy Carg Island. I totally disagree with Howard on that, and I hope he's wrong, because I think that would be a bloody situation. Because I don't see the Iranians giving up Carg Island very easily. Even if we came in there and occupied it, I still think it would be the target of massive drone attacks. They still have, he's right. We've killed about 8 out of 10. But there's still a large percentage of drone power that's taken out cargo ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Imagine what they would do to our men and women on an island. Quick time out, back half of the hour, it's TRBS. I would stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The United States was informed of Israel's strike on Iran's South Pars gas field, but did not take part. Israeli forces are also attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Iran has targeted Gulf energy facilities and made the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for roughly 1/5 of global oil, nearly impassable. Spring break travelers facing unpredictable lines at airport security as the partial U.S. government shutdown strains TSA staffing. Wait times at airports are fluctuating greatly and can change quickly, even within the same airport, depending on staffing levels. More than 24 cars of a Union Pacific train derailed this morning in a Houston town near that Texas town, causing an ethanol leak. It happened in Richmond. No injuries were reported. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. A warning from the TSA says if the partial government shutdown continues, it could mean that smaller airports like Bakersfield's Meadows Field may have to shut down because the TSA is not being paid. That has not happened, and thus far all is operating smoothly there. More government trouble, though. The conflict with Iran is keeping the Strait of Hormuz essentially shut down, which is keeping the gas supply lower than normal and is keeping California's price up, now at $5.55, says Gas Buddy. No one was hurt in a wreck where a pickup went 30 feet down an embankment along Highway 178 Tuesday afternoon, says the Highway Patrol. The people inside were able to crawl back up the side. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry. This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
$500,000 for a building that is burned down 23 times in the last year, and it only makes me ask, why the hell haven't we just let this thing burn down to the ground already? And then the internet, as great as it is, the comment says, I hope the person that reports this fire didn't call 911.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to
Great song. So apparently Cheryl Scott is not coming, but it's a good thing we have as many chairs in here. Why do we have so many chairs in here?
You know, that has been a question in my head for a while. I think we all just kind of migrated them in there. They never left.
Well, it's a good thing we have them because we've got a horde of BC people coming in. We've got 3 different BC people coming in. Apparently.
I don't got enough mics for that.
We don't, do we?
Nope.
We don't have a third mic?
Nope.
So how many mics are in that other studio?
None. Those are the 2 that are in that studio.
So how many mics did we have?
Looking at them.
We have one. No.
Is there one on the floor somewhere behind you, maybe?
Yes, there's
Okay,
one.
okay, we
mic.
got one then. We're good.
Okay, I was going to say we couldn't have one mic. There's no way. We got 2 mics. But we will talk to them about the BC Foundation and the Sterling Silver dinner that went over the weekend. In the meantime, what else you got? Anything else before we get into Rand Paul v. Mark Wayne Mullins?
Yeah, I got a couple here. I wonder how much Dolores Huerta might know of Caesar's inappropriate behavior with other women or girls that she also kept a secret.
Well, I think that is a moot point at this point. I mean, I think this is it is what it is. The slam dunk. I mean, how much more investigation do you need? The New York Times spent a year cultivating this story. They have 2 incredibly credible witnesses who are willing, in the 4th quarter of their lives, I think they're both in their mid-late 60s, decided not only to speak out, but to be identified, which is rare in these situations. And then to have Dolores Huerta come out and echo what the Times had cold anyway, just solidifies the entire story. And Dolores' story is even more bizarre, that she had children with this man and gave them up to another family who raised them. And now, just recently, did these children discover that their real biological mother was Dolores Huerta all these years. And as a big a mouth as I have, and as opinionated as I am, and as reliable as my checks are, I get them every 2 weeks. There's some things even I don't want to get into. And familial situations I try to stay away from. And judgments within a family. I just can't imagine the conversation she had with those 2 children. Because am I right about this understanding? That the 2 kids that she had with Cesar, they just recently found out that Dolores was their biological mother. I'll reread the story if I got that wrong, read it incorrectly. But regardless, I think it's a traumatic thing for everyone involved, quite obviously. And I don't think we've ever seen a legacy destroyed so quickly. One that was in great controversy as well, particularly here in the Central Valley. What else you got?
Let's see. Wow, the eyes and throwback of the head really make me ask questions.
The what?
They just said the eyes and throwback of the head.
I don't know what that means. What else you got?
Let's see. Kent represents the MAGA breakup over the war. It's a real thing. Poor Howard.
Howard Lutnick? I'm assuming they were alluding to, and I don't know why that would be for Howard. There is a split within MAGA. There is a split within the party. Again, as I talked about with Howard, how did this anti-Semite get in this cabinet, this clown cabinet that I have been an absolute critic of from the get-go? How did he get in the cabinet in the first place? And it wasn't like he was this closet anti-Semite. This guy tried to run for Congress a couple times, and that's what tripped him up. He was a renowned anti-Semite. He was friends with Nick Fuentes, an established anti-Semite. There was no question about who this character was. Let's make that clear. It's not like there was some epiphany. No, they knew exactly who he was, and he was welcomed into this administration, and I think that should be well noted. One more, and I'm going to get into this.
That's it.
All right, very good. As I talked about, Rand Paul led much of the discussion before. There were a couple of Senate panels going on today. It was good stuff. A busy, busy day inside our District of Columbia while the Rand Paul investigation was going on. They were also talking with Pam Bondi, by the way, is about to be called up to the White House or to Capitol Hill. But there is a very personal thing that is going on between Rand Paul and Markwayne Mullins. And I'm all new to this, to be honest with you. Maybe you all knew about this, but Rand Paul was attacked apparently in Kentucky. It was pretty serious. He had broken ribs. He had a concussion. 2 of the ribs were like completely destroyed. He was spitting blood for a year. I mean, he goes into it. And he claims that Markwayne Mullins kind of gloated about the fact because, as most of you know, Rand Paul is kind of that wild card in the deck of the Republican Party where you really never know where he's going to go. And he has no problem going against Donald Trump or going against MAGA or going against the party. And so by some, how should I describe Markwayne Mullins? As some incredibly dedicated MAGA members, as some ensconced members. Remember, Markwayne Mullins is a guy that doesn't believe the 2020 election was fair. So just to give you some sense of how ensconced he is, they don't get along with guys that are off the reservation like Rand Paul or the senator from Tennessee. I can't remember his name is Tom Tillis. They don't get along with those folks. Marjorie Taylor Greene. They don't get along with those folks. So he kind of gloated. And now he's got to come before the very guy that he mocked. And Rand Paul reminded him of their past.
You told the media that I was a freaking snake and that you completely understood why I had been assaulted. I was shocked that you would justify and celebrate this violent assault that caused me so much pain and my family so much pain. I just wonder if someone who applauds violence against their political opponents is the right person to lead an agency that has struggled to accept limits to the proper use of force. You might argue you were mad and upset about being confronted by your constituents. But Senator Mullin, your constituents are justifiably upset with you. By now, most of America knows that the Somali welfare fraud in Minnesota stole over $9 billion. But instead of defending your vote, you took to continue the vote to continue these refugee welfare programs. You chose to lash out at me. You went on to brag that you'd already told me to my face that you completely understood and approved of the assault. Well, that's a lie. You got a chance today. You can either continue to lie or you can correct the record. You have never had the courage to look me in the eye and tell me that the assault was justified. So today you'll have your chance.
And the assault, because I got lost in this kind of very long bite. I thought for a second he's talking about Iran. No, he's talking about his personal assault, where again, Markwayne Mullin apparently gloated and said stuff happens and blah, blah, blah. Is it enough to derail a majority? I don't think so. I don't think there are going to be other Republicans that are going to go along with this. I think it'll be down the partisan line. Obviously, I think every Democrat will vote against him. Absolutely, 100%. They still have not funded DHS, so they're certainly not going to okie dokie a new DHS secretary, although that would make sense. If you had a problem with the last one, then bring on a new one. And anybody would be better than Kristi Noem. And we're going to get to her at some point during the week. The news events have been so monumental. We haven't even been able to get to Kristi Noem and the audio that I have of her absolutely perjuring herself. We now know, because part of it was based on what the president told us about that $220 million ad campaign that surpasses literally the production costs for major motion pictures like Barbie. I'm not talking about little, we're going to be on set here at Universal movies. I'm talking about big gala motion pictures like Barbie was inside of $220 million. And this was a Kristi Noem ad campaign, her in a horse and a cowboy hat in front of Mount Rushmore, that she claimed the president knew all about. And John Kennedy from Louisiana got her to concede that when in fact it wasn't true. Just wasn't true. And there are other lies. There are other lies. And I think that the Democrats have a strong case for perjury. Absolute. On the Trump admission alone, they've got her on perjury. So we'll get to that as well. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back. Coming up at the 5 o'clock hour, we've got a host of folks from the Bakersfield College Foundation joining us. That's at 5:05. In the meantime, we've got some miscellaneous news and notes to get to. Kevin Mays, former Roadrunner basketball player, was in court today with his attorney, David Torres. They're in the midst of a preliminary hearing to determine whether or not it goes to trial. And I think that's a pretty damn good safe bet. It's going to trial. We won't go any further than that, but I think it's safe to say for someone who gets paid to make his opinion without the DA telling me to shut the hell up, he's as guilty as sin. Good God Almighty. And now the real question with Mays is, how far are people going to look into this? And how long does Vernon Harper and the athletic director have at CSUB? Because that athletic department is in utter chaos. The softball program, the women's basketball program, and now this nonsense going on right under their noses? Not good. No bueno. No bueno. Quick break. Coming right back. It's TRBS on Wednesday. Right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1.
Casey.
RN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, we won't have Dr. Corey here because he told me he's getting a perm. But as a certified life coach, I feel like I'm qualified to fill in that space. There's a lot of cool stuff and crazy stuff going on in the news, state-of-the-art news, traffic, and yes, weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 right here at News Talk 96.1, streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You know, simply because I've had to curb the way I eat when I head to KC Steakhouse on F Street, I realize that I'm omitting, just based on my own bias, some of the incredible things that are still on the menu that I can still dabble in on occasion, like the chicken fettuccine Alfredo. I know it's not an Italian restaurant, but it's some of the best in town. The lobster mac and cheese. Have you ever tried it? I know people that go there specifically for the lobster mac and cheese. And yes, there are some more healthy dishes. I've told you about the fish, the halibut, the swordfish, the mahi-mahi, the Ralph Bailey, the chicken breast that comes in a smothered creamy mushroom cream sauce with spinach. There's some healthy things, but they're also some of the best steaks you're ever going to have in your life. I know the ribeye is the most popular. Me, I'm a New York and filet guy. Where would you rather be than on F Street in the incredibly capable hands of Cassie Biddle's staff at KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show?
Got battery issues? Choose the #1 name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality batteries for every need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems, wheelchairs, and so much more. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With multiple locations to serve you. Enjoy free diagnostics on batteries, starters, alternators, and electrical systems. Plus, get free installation with any purchase. First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and operated since 1960. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly service to Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never stranded. Tell us you heard it on the radio and get 10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today, 589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr. Roland Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon Dr. Roland Rodriguez, client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his longstanding and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298. The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
We need a little more of this right here. From that very album. Little GB, one of the greatest guitar players of all time, one of the most underrated guitar players and entertainers of the 20th century, Mr. George Benson. Saw him at the Hollywood Bowl with Kimberly Michelle Williams. It was a great night. Great night. Went and had dinner at the Warehouse out of Marina Del Rey. Hung out in Hollywood after the concert. All putting around in my little Chevy Chevette. You know I had to have Riz, Chris. When I was running around LA in a Chevy Chevette, living in Inglewood with my uncle, with a beautiful 5'8" green-eyed black girl from South Pasadena. You know what I'm saying? She came from large money. She's putting around LA with my stupid ass in my little Chevy Chevette. And we had a ball. Those 2-3 years, we had so much fun. I remember we went to Vegas once, and I called in sick Monday and Tuesday. We went up on a Saturday morning, and we stayed till Wednesday. Let's come back Monday. And I just said, I don't want to go. Do you want to go? She's like, no, I don't have to be back till Wednesday. Can you get off work Monday, Tuesday? Yes, I think I can. I called in sick. I was working at the Sentinel and said I had a wisdom tooth taken out. I couldn't leave my bed. Boop, boop, boop. Just a fun time. You know why, don't you?
Because you were young?
Yes. That's yes. That's what separates it. I was young and stupid. Like now, you think I'd take that Chevy Chevette to Vegas? Seriously? How we got through the desert in that little damn go-kart is beyond, without it overheating or blowing a tire or just something going wrong. It's amazing. I don't know, it's just a fun time. She even, we went to dinner with my parents once in the marina on a boat. It was on a boat. It was some restaurant on a boat. It was a really fun night. Sorry. I go into these of late. I don't know if you've noticed that or not. I'm just sitting here. They normally happen after a break, but I'm sitting here staring at the windsock and I start thinking, and then I come back and just kind of vomit. I've got more description from the New York Times from Dolores Huerta This is a description of the first time she was attacked by Cesar Chavez. One night during the winter of 1966 in Delano, California, she said, Mr. Chavez drove her out to a secluded grape field, parked, and raped her inside the vehicle. Ms. Huerta, who was 36 at the time, said she chose not to report the assault to the police because of their hostility toward the movement, and she feared that no one within the union would believe her. She also described an earlier encounter in August 1960 when she said she felt pressure to have sex with him in a hotel room during a work trip in San Juan Capistrano in Southern California. Ms. Huerta later began a long-term domestic partnership with Mr. Chavez's brother, Richard, with whom she had 4 children. He died in 2011. Ms. Huerta turns 96 on April 10. Her memories of the details of the assault that night in Delano are at times hazy, but she speaks of the attack in a startlingly matter-of-fact manner. She described being stunned by Mr. Chavez's aggression and then numb to it. She framed her silence at the time not as an absence of pain, but as a kind of strategic necessity, particularly as a woman fighting for respect in the male-dominated world of the 1960s union organizing. Now, her accusation shatters what was widely celebrated and seemingly egalitarian bond between 2 of the most influential Hispanic activists in U.S. history. Unfortunately, quote, unfortunately, he used some of his great leadership to abuse women and children. It's really awful. Huerta said, when 30 years after his death, Mr. Chavez has become only more revered in the Latino community as President Trump's efforts to limit immigration, blah, 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 blah. Wow. Who knew? Who knew? And I was reluctant to go here, but isn't Miss Huerta kind of on the hook a little bit? If she knew who this guy was, because she says it happened, the rape happened in 66 when she was 36 years old, correct? And then she said there was a first encounter in 1960 when she was 30. And now you're 40 and you're 50 and you know who this man is and you don't report it to the police department. You don't report it to the union. You don't say, hey, we've got to come out with this first before it's reported. Because this whole thing, had it come out in the 80s or the 90s or the turn of the century, would have come out a whole lot better had it come from the UFW, as opposed to it coming from the New York Times after a year-long investigation. And Ms. Huerta had to be aware of the Times probe. They had to have reached out to her within the last 14 months that they've been working on this story. Why not, it would seem to me, why not get ahead of the story? But it seems to me they waited until the story exploded. In fact, waited so much that they didn't even tell the family that was involved, apparently, according to the New York Times reporting. Didn't even tell the children with whom she had with Cesar, who they obviously were told someone else is their biological mother, and are now only finding out that it is Dolores Huerta, who is on the 17th or 18th hole of her life. It's an absolute tragic and amazing story, the likes of which we have not seen, not in my lifetime. Not in my lifetime have we seen a legacy destroyed like this. Like I said earlier, it was one thing to learn that Dr. King was unfaithful to Coretta, and by the way, vice versa. It's one thing that we all learned about John Kennedy, and then we kind of just accepted that leaders, powerful men, engage in this kind of behavior when Bill Clinton did it with a 21-year-old intern in the Oval Office. And we learned about Eisenhower, we learned about Roosevelt, we learned about Thomas Jefferson, we learned about all these men who are men, flawed men. But the destruction of a legacy of the likes of which we're going through right now, never seen before. And I guess that puts the kibosh on changing the street name, suffice it to say. And every celebration from Maine to Hawaii has been canceled. Mike, Big Dog Parent, just sent me a picture of the statue of Cesar Chavez on the Fresno State campus. They've got a big black tarp on it, like I told you earlier. They are sprinting away from Mr. Chavez, who was an absolute legend. But like I said, a very controversial legend, who, if you talk to old school farm workers, they'd go as far as calling him a communist, a rebel rouser, an agitator, and a guy who wanted to destroy, in the name of the UFW and in the name of equality, destroy the agriculture industry throughout the late 60s and even in the early 70s with great boycotts, et cetera. Remember that? I lived through that. I lived through the great boycott. But, man, it's just an absolute amazing story. And for Ms. Huerta to come out, there's part of it that is admirable, and then there's part of it where you think she has to take some blame, some responsibility for not speaking up as a grown woman. You know, she wasn't victimized as a child. She's claiming the first event with Mr. Chavez happened in 1960 when she was 30, and she was raped in Delano when she was 36. And now 10, 15, 20 years later, you're a middle-aged woman who is witnessing the growth in awareness of human trafficking, domestic violence, and rape and sexual assault. And yet she still stayed silent. Quick time out. We're going to talk to members of the BC Foundation. They recently had their big gala over the weekend. We'll tell you what they are up to in the future. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm John Scott. There's no let-up in the war. Israel strikes Beirut while Iran sends missiles toward Israel and its Gulf neighbors.
Iran is lashing out following the killing of one of its top leaders in an airstrike, with attacks on its Persian Gulf neighbors and Israel, using some of its latest missiles to evade air defenses and killing at least 2 people near Tel Aviv, as the war in the Middle East shows no sign of slowing. Israel, meanwhile, has kept up intense pressure on Lebanon, with strikes, it says, targeting Iran-backed Hezbollah militants, hitting multiple apartment buildings in Beirut and killing at least 6 people. In Iran, the Bushehr nuclear power plant complex was hit by a projectile, but there were no injuries and the plant suffered no damage. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Pakistan and Afghanistan have declared a temporary pause in escalating fighting. The announcement comes 2 days after Afghanistan blamed Pakistan for a deadly airstrike in Kabul that it said killed hundreds of people at a drug rehabilitation hospital. Both say they are suspending fighting ahead of a Muslim holiday. More restrictions for some people looking to obtain a U.S. visa.
The United States will demand bonds up to $15,000 for visa applications from more countries. Effective April 2nd, passport holders from 12 countries will be required to pay the bond, which is refunded if the visa application is denied, or if granted, the person adheres to the terms of the visa. After April 2nd, there will be 50 countries whose citizens are subject to the requirement, which was rolled out by the Trump administration last year as it cracked down on visa overstays and more broadly, moved to curtail illegal migration. Haya Panjwani, Washington.
The Federal Reserve kept its key interest rate unchanged, and Chair Jerome Powell highlighted the increasingly uncertain outlook for the U.S. economy and inflation in the wake of the Iran war. More on these stories from townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Oh no, I got it.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A long prison sentence for the killing of gay rights activist David Landeros, signed Chris Davis. But some people say not long enough. 29-year-old Freddie Rivera of Delano will serve 21 years in prison for the crime, which happened at Yokuts Park September 18th, 2023, during a fight between the two. Rivera was charged initially with first-degree murder, and because of some circumstances, that charge was reduced to voluntary manslaughter. Non-permitted food vendors are a risk, says the Kern County Grand Jury. In a new report out this week, that body says one of the main reasons that the food vendors are proliferating, and you are seeing more of them, is because of a shortage of health inspectors. And the jury says the county government needs to correct that by November 30th. They say the county should provide more money and look into why that position isn't paid enough. No injuries were reported Tuesday afternoon in a pretty rough wreck along the side of Highway 178, where the California Highway Patrol says a truck went about 30 feet down an embankment with 3 people inside. It was in the Kern River Canyon where the driver of the truck lost control and ran off the side of the highway. The Highway Patrol says the 3 people who were inside the truck managed to crawl back up the side of the hill. Gas has gone up another penny, and until the Strait of Hormuz is reopened, gas prices may keep going up. The strait is being kept squeezed off by Iran because of the conflict there. That is the way the oil gets out of the Middle East. That squeezes down the supply and causes the prices to go up, and that is hitting home everywhere, but especially in California, where gas prices are higher than everywhere else by a large gap. Gas Buddy reports the average price in California today is $5.55 per gallon. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think this is, the Army where you shoot a mile away? You gotta get a post like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 18th day of March. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at KERNradio.com. We still got lots to do. You know what I did last night?
What's that now?
I watched the the Laker-Houston game.
And?
I'm glad you put a conjunction in that, Mr. Burdick. It was, what's day, Wednesday? It was Monday night's game. But I watched it like it was live, and I was like, we beat the Rockets? And then I looked, yeah, we beat them on Monday. But we're the hottest team in basketball, are we not? Are we not? We just beat Minnesota. We just beat Denver. We just beat the Rockets. I don't like them either. But, dude, we've won 10 out of 11.
True.
Come on. We got the leading scorer in basketball.
True.
And I'm not a fan of his either, but it is what a TI is. Just thought I'd tell you. We will talk a little sports at the bottom of the hour, and we'll get you caught up on the situation going on at CSUB with Kevin Mays. He was in court today with his attorney, David Torres, preliminary hearing. And let's just say it's going to trial. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Meantime, on the other side of our community is one of the finest community colleges in all of the country. I think it's safe to say Bakersfield College, the Renegades, and I've got 3 lovely Renegades I'm surrounded by for those of you viewing on YouTube, and I'm going from my right to left. Alyssa Cross, Kaylee Gregory, and Courtney Carter. They're all part of the foundation team. Ladies, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us today.
You guys are on a roll coming off a really successful weekend. Talk about what the foundation did this weekend.
Foundation had the 18th annual Sterling Silver Gala. The Sterling Silver is our wine pairing event. So our culinary team cooks up an amazing meal, and then we pair specific wines with those pieces of the meal.
Which is, by the way, let me stop you, one of the best kept secrets in this town.
Yes,
the
sir.
Culinary, I mean,
The Renegade
food,
Room.
Oh, it's amazing
Yes.
the food that they cook
Yes.
up there. It really is.
And the really bright spot about that is those are all students.
Yeah.
We've got 4 main chefs up there, and then everybody cooking all of those meals. Those are our students.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And Kylie, tell them what you do for the foundation.
So I focus on our marketing communications. So everything coming down to videos for the event, press releases, and all of that. We got to honor 3 incredible honorees this year. We had Drs. Nina and Ravi Patel as our
Outstanding
philanthropists
people.
of
Yeah.
the year. Yes. And then we had the Kern High School District as our Community Partner Award. And then Corny Rodriguez for our Service Medal for BC.
Love Corny. No,
Everybody knows him.
Yes,
so.
everybody knows Corny.
And if you don't know him, you should.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Alyssa, it was a successful night. I'm sure you were there. Tell us about it.
I am actually part of the. I'm the person who hounds everybody for their guest list.
There's always got to be somebody.
Yes, that's me. And then I help get our sponsors. And this year we had our presenting sponsor by Dignity Health.
Nice.
And I also help facilitate the scholarships because this event is to raise money for scholarships. Last year we raised, I won't say we raised, we gave $20,000 in scholarships from just this event. This year we think we're going to hit 40,000.
Wow.
CRC gave us a $15,000 scholarship for our culinary students. this year.
CRC being?
California Resource Center, Resource Corporation.
Okay.
They
okay.
announced it that night that they were donating $15,000
Wow.
to culinary scholarships.
That's outstanding. It really is amazing what is going on in the Northeast and how you guys, and along with KCCD, are using the tentacles to get out into the community and bring the education out from Saracosa to Porterville to Lamont to just Delano. It's just incredible. Courtney, what are you looking forward to? What else is going on with the foundation as we go deeper into the school year?
Oh gosh. Well, the Alumni Association is getting ready. Next week, we're having one of our first Lunch and Learn seminars where we're bringing some of our alumni board to campus to network with our students to kind of help them understand how important networking is. A lot of us don't learn that networking is important until a little bit later in life.
Yeah.
So if we get these kids understanding the importance of networking, we really can help launch their careers as soon as they're ready to go.
This is a merit-based society, but it doesn't hurt to know people.
Right.
We've all had a little bit of luck where if it's just somebody who introduces you to somebody,
right,
or just opens a door for you, that's what I had a nephew who was going to come up and live with me, and he was going to go to Garces, and that was one of my selling points. I said, dude, you're going to be going to high school with, in 20 years, the movers and shakers of this town.
Exactly.
And you'll have these forever relationships. And that's what you guys are doing. It's
Right. So our board, who are current movers and shakers, are
Mhm.
going to come introduce these kids to the networking and show them, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and let's get you moving.
Yeah, it's incredible. The what you're doing on a high school level, getting those kids involved. I had the chancellor in here fairly recently who was telling me how you're getting 7th and 8th graders on campus to
Right.
just give them a taste of what college is like and the
Right.
experience, and get that integrated in them early. I love that.
Yeah, when you get them on campus and show them that this
Yes.
is the place for them and they can see their future there,
Mhm.
it changes everything.
And it's not intimidating. Get them
No.
used to the campus
Right.
and see, God, a lot of these people look just like me.
Exactly. Exactly.
And to see that is
We're a big
that comes
family.
from it. Yeah.
We're a big family, and we will take care of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else going on, ladies, you want to talk about before I let you go?
We're in the middle of scholarship season,
Yeah.
and we have a big goal of awarding over $2 million in scholarships this year.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Big number for us.
Yeah. So you're looking for sponsors? How can people get in contact with you?
You could contact us at supportbc.org, and our emails are on there if you want to open a scholarship or donate to an existing scholarship. We have so many options for anybody.
Yeah. Outstanding.
It only takes $300 to open up a scholarship. Or if you can't donate that much, I mean, anything makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not only the scholarships, different programs on campus as well. If you want to donate to a program on campus, that's also super easy to do.
Yeah.
Like our jazz students, they are a big hit at our Sterling Silver event too.
Who? I'm sorry.
Our jazz students.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they are actually our entertainment the whole night.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
And they love it because they get to perform in front of 300 plus
Over
people.
300 people,
Yeah.
Wow. That has to be exciting.
It is.
And
So
they're
you
all,
can donate to that program if you
yeah.
want to.
There's so much going on at campus. That's why I'm so excited that we're meshing in and trying to get you guys on and talk about all that's going on the
Yeah.
campus.
It's all for the students, and in return, it makes our community a better place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll come back. We'll come back when we're promoting the barbecue.
Please.
We've got the alumni barbecue coming up in October.
Is
So-
that right?
Mhm.
October? All right,
Mhm.
then we will
Yeah.
see you then.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies. Courtney Carter, Kayla Gregory, and Alyssa Cross. BC Foundation. Your titles. One more time, going left to right.
Oh gosh, I am alumni and donor relations coordinator.
Marketing communications.
And Alyssa?
Alumni and donor relations manager.
See, I wasn't even gonna mess with that. I told them up front. Y'all gotta introduce yourselves. Thank you, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Quick time out. Don't go anywhere. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Wednesday, right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Outstanding. That was great.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Well, thanks for
The
coming
JR Show,
Yeah.
weekdays at 2
Let us
p.m.
know.
So I'm not defending this woman. Yes, her attitude probably stinks because, well, she's from Bakersfield. Two, she's got to put up with dumb people calling 911 because, well, she's from Bakersfield. Which leads me to my other question. Who the hell still calls 911 in this community? So expecting somebody's going to actually show up to your 911 call. Let's just be real.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Thanks so much.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Networks business owners. How many times have you called your IT company and felt like just another ticket? One 241-0638. That's 241-0638. Join the IT network that American General Media uses every day.
Got battery issues? Choose the number one name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality
what am I
batteries
having
for
for
every
dinner?
need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems,
What am I
wheelchairs,
having
and
for
so
dinner?
much more. If it takes a
Any suggestions out there for dinner? Don't even know what my A1C is. That's so frustrating. I cut out all my carbs and didn't drink coffee with creamer in it. And he didn't even test for my A1C. It was all about my PSA. Anybody got any suggestions for dinner tonight? I don't know. Probably do coconut joes, chicken, rice, and beans.
33 for the look.
I am extremely boring.
Online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
Every business starts with an idea. With smart business buying from Amazon Business, get everything you need to grow in one familiar place. From office supplies to IT essentials and maintenance tools. Ready to bring your visions to life? Learn how at amazonbusiness.com.
Even if you've given up on your New Year's resolutions, one health habit that's easy to keep is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon, in stores at CVS, Walgreens, and GNC.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN. Say it again.
Judy in the chat room said she was at Casey's Steakhouse this weekend. Said she looked for me. You will rarely see me at Casey's Steakhouse on the weekend. I'm a weekday guy. I'm a Monday, Tuesday, and maybe you find me in the Stockyard on a Thursday listening to Lottie play her acoustic guitar. God, my jaw is getting worse. You notice that? I'm having a hard time enunciating. And then when I try to enunciate, I look like Mr. Ed. Do you know who Mr. Ed is?
The horse?
Yeah. You know how a horse, when they chew and they show their teeth? And so for me to enunciate, I have to show my teeth, which are fairly decent. I don't have all 32, but I am past 6 decades old. But they took out those 2 back molars when my jaw got infected. I first broke my jaw and they put screws in it. And then one of the screws touched an embedded, what do you call it? What I just said, embedded wisdom tooth. And it got infected. In fact, I got sent home that day. Former Bob Lewis, our old operations manager, sent me home. I went into his office. And I literally look like, I won't say golf ball, but I'll say, what are those things, those candies that you suck on forever? Like the shape of a golf ball.
Gosh dang it. It's
I mean, between the two of us, we can't get this. See, I feel good when the kid, yes, Jawbreaker. I feel good when the kid can't get it, because then you can't say it's because I'm ridiculously old. But yeah, Jawbreaker is literally the size of a Jawbreaker. Look on my mouth. And Bob was like, dude, what's going on with your face? I said, it's just a little swollen. There was no pain. And thank God he sent me home. I went home. I called a specialist. They told me to come in immediately. They looked at my face. They looked at my jaw. I was in KMC 2 hours later. Literally. Not even 2 hours later. Because they were going to do the operation at his place. And they were like, no, we need to do this in a hospital. It's a little more complicated than they thought. And the next 48 hours were some of the worst 48 hours of my life. So I went in and I was scheduled to have surgery at 11 o'clock that night. And I hadn't eaten, which was a good thing. It was one of the only reasons I could have surgery at 11 o'clock that night. And I sat in a 3-person bed facility at KMC with one guy who was defecating on himself and screaming at the nurses. And I couldn't get to sleep because I was going to have surgery at 11 o'clock. And right around 10:30, they told me there was not going to be surgery. It'd be tomorrow morning. And I couldn't eat and I couldn't sleep. And I stayed up literally all night long, had the surgery at 6 a.m. And the next day and a half at KMC it was so bad that after a day and a half, I checked myself out, where I had to sign out. I said, well, we can let you go. You're supposed to stay till Monday. This was Sunday morning. I said, you're supposed to stay till Monday, but you can sign yourself out if you want, but you take responsibility. I said, where do I sign? Because my blood pressure was out the roof. They don't let you, when you go into a hospital, they don't let you take your meds. I only learned that by going into a hospital. They will not let you take your meds. They try to
give you generic versions of what you're on, but my blood pressure was out the roof, and I kept calling doctor, doctor. I'm not kidding. As some of you well know, there is a physician in our community named Doctor. His last name is Doctor. Not making that up. And he just kept telling me, oh, the pain is what's causing your high blood pressure. And I kept telling him, no, I've had a history in the past of high blood pressure. And then finally I checked myself out. And I'll never forget, I'm standing in front of Kern Medical Center and I'm waiting for my Uber. And I start to get lightheaded where I'm literally moving without moving. And I'm like, I'm about to faint. I'm pretty sure I checked myself out a little prematurely. And I finally kind of like got a hold of myself. I was like, come on, get a hold of yourself. And finally the Uber came and I slept for like 8 hours. And God, it was one of the worst experiences of my life. I could not sleep. They don't change, they don't change the linen. Like I was there for 3 days, and they don't change the linen. So I hadn't bathed in 3 days. That was a great question that I almost posed on the podcast. How long do you think you could go without a shower? And that wasn't really the question. The question was, if somebody gave you 10 grand a day not to take a shower, how long could you go? 10 grand a day. So what, a year, 365? Is that $365,000? Is that what that amounts to? It's $30,000 a year, yeah. So it's 100. So yeah, it's almost $375,000 a year. Could you go a year without bathing?
No.
I don't think I could either.
No way.
A year?
And also, I'm pretty sure those numbers are off.
Are they out? Is it 3.6 million? What's 10? You got my phone. What's 10
I
grand?
get back to you.
Oh, is this my phone? Hey Siri, what's 10,000 times 365?
10,000 times 3.
Yeah, it's $3.6 million. Oh, I don't know, Chris. I could go funky for a whole atom for 3.6.
For a year? I don't think you're accounting for all the things that your skin will go through if you don't bathe for a year.
What happens? Psoriasis?
Oh, no. You'll have rashes, fleas.
Well, that's psoriasis. Fleas? What are you talking about, fleas?
Oh, don't you start.
What, are you going to go outside and roll around on the grass?
Pigpen. Let's be honest.
The longest I think I went was 3.5, almost 4 days when I traveled with my dad from LA to Beaufort.
I could probably go 4 or 5 days at the max.
And literally, my mother said, hi, baby, hi. Oh, God, baby, you need to go take a shower. That's literally her sentence. Is Dizzle in there with you?
Randy just asked.
How long did you go? Oh, that's nasty, dude. That's not right. Should I tell that story?
I don't know if you did.
She's dating somebody else now, and nobody knows her. I mean, actually, they do know her because her dad is.
Oh no, you've told this
fairly well known. I did tell the story.
Before.
I went to Brandon Lang's wedding with somebody, and we left later than we should have. But we left on a Saturday morning. Well, no, I'm lying. We left on a Saturday afternoon. We were supposed to leave on a Saturday morning. Our flight was scheduled to leave at 10 a.m., and we missed it. We had to take a 3 a.m. flight. And the classic, I don't know whether it was Randy or whether it was JR, but the classic text message was, you could literally rent a car and get there before the 3 o'clock flight at 10 o'clock. And we thought about it because we drove. And she was like, do you want to just drive? And I was like, no, not really. And the Mississippi State Georgia game was on, and I was hungover like a big dog. Anyway, getting to the crux of the story, we stayed. So we got there Saturday at like 5. Brandon's wedding was Saturday night. We hung out with Brandon at the Fontainebleau. Sunday, we bet football. We hung out. I intentionally took off Monday so we didn't have to rush back. So we left Monday at 9 o'clock. So we were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, left Monday. And the young woman who accompanied me never took a shower. Never. Like, I took a shower before we left for the plane Saturday morning. But 5 hours later, getting ready for Brandon's wedding, I took another shower and I kind of said, do you want to go first? And she was like, no, I'm good. I was like, okay, maybe she showered this morning or I don't know. Okay. So I took a shower. No, didn't think about it. Then Sunday, we were going to go downstairs and bet football. About 9:30, I jump in the shower. She's getting dressed. Like, do you want to go first? No, you go ahead. And I'm like, okay. And I get out of the shower and I'm putting on my clothes. And by the time I put on my clothes, she's dressed and ready to go. This is now Sunday morning. I'm like, okay, all right. And we hung around all day Sunday. We had a really good time, actually. We met this guy named Ralph in the sports book at the Strat. Had a really good time, actually. And she got drunk and passed out in the middle of the afternoon, which was good by me because I wouldn't play poker for a little bit. And then that night, we just kind of hung out, laid it low. And she didn't take a shower that night either.
Well, okay, hold on though.
And then we left at about, I think our plane left at 11. So we were at the airport by 9. I was in the shower at 7. I asked once again, do you want to go first? She said, no, I'm good. And I took my 4th shower to her 0. And I told the fellas that story because I found it kind of bizarre. What?
I was thinking in my head when you brought up the time where you went to go play poker and she took a nap. I was like, would that not be a...
No, she was still passed out when I got back to the room.
Really?
Yeah. In her clothes. Passed out on her stomach. She had like 3... We were playing football in the morning, and you can't blame her. It was like we were down in the book at 9:30 in the morning, drinking vodka at 10 o'clock, watching the Raiders. And by like halftime of the second game, she was 4 or 5 cocktails in middle of the afternoon and was OUT. Because remember, I was just drinking beer because I was so hungover. I had 5 Long Island iced teas the Friday night before the flight. Don't ask. I have no idea. I figured I wasn't driving. I'm getting on a plane. What do I care if I was hungover? No, I was one of the reasons we missed the flight, if you ask me. Final half hour of the broadcast. I would stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Federal Reserve kept its key interest rate unchanged, and Chair Jerome Powell highlighted the increasingly uncertain outlook for the U.S. economy and inflation in the wake of the Iran war, suggesting the Fed could stand pat for an extended period. Fed policymakers maintain their forecast for an additional rate cut this year. An Israeli strike killed Iran's intelligence minister overnight, with Iranian state television confirming the death of Ismail Khatib. Iran lashed out early Wednesday with multiple attacks on its Persian Gulf neighbors and Israel. Palestinian medics say 3 Palestinians were killed in the West Bank from an Iranian missile attack. And President Trump paid his respects at a military base in Delaware, where the remains of 6 U.S. service members were returned to their families. They were killed last week in Iraq. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. The sentence that was handed Freddie Rivera of Delano Tuesday afternoon was 21 years for the crime of voluntary manslaughter in the shooting in 2023 at Yokuts Park of gay rights activist David Landeros. Rivera was initially charged with first-degree murder, but because of circumstances, that was reduced to voluntary manslaughter. The Kern County Grand Jury report says non-permitted food vendors are a risk to people in Kern County, some even linked with organized crime. The report says more of the trucks and vendors are coming because of the lack of food safety inspectors, and that the county should do what it takes to correct that and hire more inspectors, including studying the pay. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour, and when it breaks, on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It's the third annual Autism on the Run, benefiting Hearts Connection. Saturday morning, April 11th at the Park at Riverwalk off Stockdale Highway. You can participate in the family walk, 2K, 5K, or 10K. Sponsorships, vendors, raffle items, and volunteers still needed. All proceeds stay local and help local families. There will be prizes, snacks, drinks, kids zone, and more. For tickets and info, contact Susan Graham at 661-328-9055. We'll see you there for Autism on the Run.
Get ready for the 11th annual Mac and Cheese Fest, happening Saturday, May 9th at the Kern County Fairgrounds from 2 to 6 p.m. This year's event is going to be bigger and better than ever. Enjoy endless servings of mac and cheese, along with refreshing beers, spiked seltzers, cocktails, and live music. Early bird tickets on sale now. But hurry, this special offer is only available for a limited time, and there are a limited number of discounted tickets. For more information and to grab your tickets, visit BakersfieldMacandCheeseFest.com.
This event benefits the Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, we won't have Dr. Corey here because he told me he's getting a perm. But as a certified life coach, I feel like I'm qualified to fill in that space. There's a lot of cool stuff and crazy stuff going on in the news, state-of-the-art news, traffic, and yes, weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 right here in News Talk 96.1, streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
We're trying to figure out how far is it from Corpus Christi to San Antonio? 2 hours?
A 2-hour drive.
That's LA. That's LA Bakersfield. And that's the closest? Is Houston closer? San Antonio? What else is near there? Waco? No, you couldn't fly into Waco. I'll ask Kathy how she gets into Waco.
Yeah, because Corpus Christi is like right on the water.
Right.
So
right.
all the other big cities are a couple hours
Right.
up.
Austin
Houston's
is north
farther.
of there. Houston, everything is north of Corpus Christi, except for like Brownsville and stuff like that. But
Hey, get a ride. Come pick me up. I'm at the airport.
I'm at the International Airport.
Yeah.
Where in San Antonio?
No, Corpus Christi.
But
Well, then why can't I get a flight straight into CC?
it might cost you probably double the price, I would think. You know,
Yeah.
if you go LAX to San Antonio, that's going to be your best price.
Listen to your travel guide.
Oh, I know. That's why I don't go to Beaufort as often as I might, because the flight from LA to Atlanta is a decent price. Then the flight from Atlanta to Savannah, which is still 30 minutes from Beaufort, is as much as the flight from LA to Atlanta. Literally. It just doesn't make any sense. Back in the day, we used to take a little DC-10. I can remember because you had to walk on the tarmac back in those days, in the mid-'70s at Savannah Airport. Now it's a gargantuan airport because that's where all the media and everybody flies in for Augusta. And a lot of the folks stay in Savannah, but they knew that was part of the Masters' demand. They were holding up the city of Savannah and demanding that they advance and expand on the airport, or they were going to take the Masters someplace else. Now, of course, that was the biggest friggin' fake out in the history of the world. Masters would have never left Augusta, let alone leave Georgia, but it is what a TI is. 842-5376, 842-KERN. So the Save America Act debate continued today, the second day of debate, after it passed a test vote for debate. But again, now that we still have the filibuster, it takes 60 votes to get this thing across the goal line. And as I've said, if the Republicans would just focus on voter ID alone, that's a slam dunk. I think everybody believes that you should have a real driver's license and have to show it to vote. But when you get into passports and birth certificates and proof of naturalization and things like that, I'm a little wary of that. But at the same time, then we learned yesterday that illegal immigrants are getting driver's licenses. So that kind of strengthens the administration's argument on having to prove that you are an American citizen. Because as we know, and I'm being the master of the obvious, that's the cause of the flood of immigration. The Democrats thought they had a new winning ticket. And that would be the millions and millions and millions of immigrants coming here from Central America at all. And, you know, I mean, you all, it's not like this is ancient history. We all lived it. Oh, the border is secure. I mean, the compilation that news agencies have put together on that, I'm sure you've seen, where it's like Kamala, Biden, just various members of the cabinet insisting that the border was secure when it was as porous as it's ever been. And the complaining by Joe, there was nothing he could do without Congress, and then Donald Trump walked right in, problem solved. Had they just not involved the ICE agents. I'm not against ICE. I'm just telling you that politically, putting these aggressive, young, poorly trained agents on the streets has been an absolute game changer for the Republican Party. And that's proof in the numbers. The numbers are horrendous, where Trump is underwater in just about everything. Foreign policy, 52% don't agree with what he's doing. The economy, I think it's 57% don't agree with what he's doing. I mean, these numbers are staggering. And again, I don't mean to be a robot or to be a just redundant, boring talk show host, but midterms right around the corner. One of the most consequential midterms we're going to have, I think, in our lifetime. I really do. And with these kind of numbers, there's nothing to run on. There's no more Trump magic. In fact, Democrat candidates now, as they really kind of always have been, but they're just running on Trump. They're just running around their district saying, I'm not Trump. I'm not MAGA. And that's getting it done. Remember, there have been two major quakes within the Republican Party. The first was that district in Texas that I keep telling you about, where Trump carried it by 17 votes, 17 percentage points, 17 points. And a Democrat walked in there and won it by 14 points. It was a 31-point switch. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat in Northwest Georgia, up there where all the rich people live, all the athletes and celebrities up there near Roswell and Rome, Georgia, her seat, the Democrat got the most votes. He needed a majority to avoid a runoff, but the Democrat got more votes than the Republican in Marjorie Taylor Greene's congressional district. I believe it's CD 14. And again, another district that Trump carried big time. Oh, and did I mention that the Democrat was black? I probably forgot to mention that. A black Democrat won Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat. We'll see what happens in the general election, because there were a couple of other Republicans, and it kind of had what's going on out here in the gubernatorial race, where there's so many Democrats that it siphoned off votes and may give us a chance to get a Republican in the governorship for the first time since Arnold Schwarzenegger. But this still is a big shot across the bow of the party, where these solid red districts just ain't that solid. They're just not that solid anymore. And if they can flip that, if they can flip Texas, as I think they just might, James Tellerico, the guy that beat Jasmine Crockett, going up against probably John Cornyn. And I don't think the president has officially endorsed him yet. He's going up against the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, who is rife with baggage. Cheated on his wife. He was impeached. He was acquitted, but he was impeached, which is just a trial. Their state legislator acquitted him. He had fraud charges filed against him criminally. Again, he was acquitted. But that's going to be the mainstay of James Tallarico's campaign, who, by the way, just happens to be a minister, a foreign minister, going up against the guy in Ken Paxton who cheated on his wife. It's not a really good comparison, not a really good look. And don't forget about the criminal fraud charges as well. Not a really good look. So this thing, it could be a whole new ballgame. If they flip Texas, good God Almighty. Good God Almighty. All right, let's go ahead and take our final break of the day. We can come back. You got a couple text messages in there before we get out of here?
I do, and actually, before we forget,
Yes.
we got some Condors tickets to give away.
Is that right?
We do.
Versus?
I believe they'll be taking on the Calgary Wranglers. It's Star Wars night this weekend.
Is that right? Well, then I'm going to rely on you then to come up with some Star Wars trivia.
Fantastic.
We'll do that right after the break. Our phone number, get ready, 842-5376, 842-KERN. Mr. Burdick will come up with a question for you. And first come, first serve. First caller to identify the correct answer, get a 4-pack, I assume?
Two pair. I'm sorry, a pair.
A pair of tickets. Take the boo. Whether it's female or male. Or male on male. I don't care. It's 2026. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. On News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Nobody's talking about that self-worth and purpose. We're talking about that. Nobody says it. There's more to you than what you're doing. Let's help you get there.
Let's help you get there. Let's just all agree that there's many different roads, but different people dealing with homelessness and living on the streets to get them.
That's right. I agree with you.
And as long as we can start there, then I think we can start to make a bigger difference.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Are you craving a mouth you up without emptying your wallet? Plus, did you know that Caesar's Deli has a full-service deli offering a variety of over 60 meats and cheeses? It's a sandwich lover's paradise, and that's why Caesar's Deli has been a local favorite and proudly serving Bakersfield since 1971. Visit Caesar's Deli today and taste the difference for yourself. Located on the corner of Brim Hall and Callaway behind the beautiful water fountain.
And we're back. Rob and Bob here once again for California Fruit Depot. Bob seems to be laughing. This is a commercial. We only have 60 seconds.
Okay.
We need to sell citrus
and nuts.
dates, nuts, dried fruits. We need to tell people where we are, as they can't do it by Google. And if you don't know where we are by now,
You're not listening enough.
you're really not listening. Pay
Get in your
attention.
car, drive around, and
Here's
listen.
something that you're going to.
You ready?
Three, two. I've been a reporter and in the communication business for a very long time. And this is one of the most devastating, stunning stories that I have ever seen. I've never seen a lifetime legacy of even someone as controversial as Cesar Chavez so immediately destroyed, and supporters not even trying to defend him, just running away from him, the UFW. And then Dolores Huerta joining in and saying she had 2 children with the man that she did not raise on her own. It's just flabbergasting. Did I really just say flabbergasting? 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Thursday TRBS. Well, it's a Thursday. Our good friend Mike Turnipseed from the Current Tax Association will be with us, along with our money man, Daniel Petrie, and the latest on Epic Fury. All that, me at 3. It's TRBS, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. I'll see you at 3. How much time?
Thing called-
How much time we got?
Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Ready to free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
Even if you've given up on your New Year's resolutions, one health habit that's easy to keep is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon, in stores at CVS, Walgreens, and now GNC.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Reach label uses directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
No Star Wars movie music?
Oh, I didn't think you would want that. So
Scott Cox is ringing the bell on Star Wars night.
I don't know who is. He might be, or it's JR. I'm not sure.
Well, there's a PR thing sitting on there. Star Wars night. Win a pair of tickets. Join Scott Cox at Rabobank Arena March the 21st.
Which it's not Rabobank anymore. It's Dignity
No, it's
Hill.
not. No, exactly. That's huge.
No, that would be young Dawson doing some fun stuff in the morning. I'm not sure who's ringing the bell.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have an answer? I was assuming you'd come in with dun 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 dun. dun. Oh, that's Superman.
That's the wrong one.
That's the wrong one. I don't know if I know any theme songs of Star Wars. The more I think about it.
I'm telling you, you probably do, but give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, if I hear it, because I saw one.
The fourth one?
The one.
Yeah, the first. I'm sorry, the first.
First one. Yes, I saw parts of 2. Dun, dun. That's mighty close to Superman, Jack. That's my okay. Now play Superman. Play Superman. Watch how close this is. That is damn close. Had whoever came up with theirs first, and I'm assuming it was Superman, I would have sued. I would have done the Marvin Gaye family thing.
Well, guess what? Same guy did both.
Thank you.
John Williams.
Do I have an ear or do I have an ear? No, not really. I got a tin ear. I mean, that's almost identical. We should play the theme song to E.T. just to see, because I know Williams did that as well. If it's a Spielberg picture, Williams did it. You know which one is his best, though? It's the simplest.
Okay, I'm sorry. Are we talking themes here?
John Williams, yes. It's his most simple, and it's clearly his best.
Jurassic Park?
No. Da-da.
Oh, true.
Da-da.
Everybody's tried to recreate that ever since.
And after you've seen it once, because I must have seen it 3 or 4 times that summer of 75, I was in 8th grade. And once you hear the music, you like elbow your buddy. Here he comes. That ain't good for that little girl in there. That ain't good. You see that dude on the little ship right there? You hear that dun-dun-dun-dun-dun? Ain't good. Ain't good. All right, what do you got? What's your question?
You know what? This one's a little tricky, but if you're a Star Wars fan, you get it.
I'm not staying after 6.
Oh, I got you.
I'm out of here at 5:59.
It's easy enough that you'll get it.
I'm
In the
having a
original
hamburger.
trilogy,
In the original trilogy.
C-3PO has one leg that's a different color.
Oh, Lord.
What is the color of his leg?
I am not staying after 6 o'clock. I just want to make that
It's pretty easy. Everybody knows what color C-3PO is. It's
Say it again.
So what color is C-3PO's leg in the original trilogy?
Dun, da, 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 da.
If we don't get that within 2 minutes or a caller, I have an easy one.
All right, 842-5376. We have to wait for the delay. There's a 2-minute delay.
There is.
Thanks to Janet Jackson and Mr. Who's with her that night?
Was that
The guy from Mickey
Justin?
Mouse who's good friends with
Timberlake.
Yeah,
Timberlake,
Justin
yeah.
Timberlake. Yeah, when he ripped off her nipple and they tried to pretend like it was an accident when it really
Ruined live TV for everybody.
ruined radio.
Did.
Put some radio out of business because Michael Powell, the son of Colin Powell, became the chairman of the FCC. And in response, that one little moment on Super Bowl, everybody had to get delays, or you got a $200,000 fine. A $200,000 fine, even for a company as large as ours. I'm pretty sure if the government was asking for almost $250,000 from Mr. Brandon, I'm pretty sure he'd close up shop and go to Martha's Vineyard. You know what I'm saying? And there are other companies that just couldn't sustain it, and they weren't willing to roll the dice. And then that dictated now that if you were going to try to roll the dice, you had to have some insurance. And that's why just about every radio station in America that does live television or live radio has a delay. That's a true story. It's all because of that infamous Super Bowl moment and Michael Powell telling people, if we catch you doing something indecent, it'll cost you almost $250,000. Which again, for any radio station, any cluster in this community, that would absolutely put them out of business. And we're a pretty decent size market. What? We're not doing this on the air? Are you getting the right answer? Or I thought we were going to do it on
I do
the air.
have somebody with the right answer now, yes.
You realize you ruined the whole bit.
No, I have, again, there's a reason for it, but Fernando is first.
Okay, I don't understand what we're doing, but all right. Fernando, yes. Does Fernando have...
I'm going to say, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say the color is silver of his leg.
All right, Fernando, congratulations. You won. Are you going to this Condors game?
Yes, of course.
All right, very good.
He's a big fan.
All right, hang on. Talk to Chris. Don't go anywhere. All right, thanks, man.
No, I'm sorry. I was talking to multiple people because multiple people had the correct answer, and I just so happened to have one or two more pairs. So to be fair to everybody who got it
You're
right.
give them away then?
Huh?
You're going to give them to the other two callers?
Yes, of course.
All right.
I had a couple from this morning that I had to give away.
I still don't understand why we didn't do it on the air.
Well, again, I had three people, but instead of having all three of them say the same answer, I just told the other two, hold on, this guy got it before you, but I have some tickets I can still give you.
Yeah, we still could have done Fernando on the air.
We did. That's my point. I just couldn't.
We knew he was going to win. We knew he was going to win. You're so funny. You are so funny. Yeah, I got a guy who's got the right answer. Hold on. And it just killed the drama. I mean, I guess there was no drama because everybody had the right answer, but well, congratulations. I've been to a Condors game I went to two Condors game last year, actually, with dates. Had a fun time. Spent a ton of money. I took the young black girl and spent like $80 just on drinks at the Condors game. You know those drinks that come in the vase? I don't even know what they were, but they were $20 a pop. And we had 2 rounds, so there's $80 right there. And I don't think we did the food. No, we didn't do the food. We went to Bill Lee's for dinner. But always fun. And our tickets are pretty good, actually. They're on one side of the rink, but they're real close. They're about 5 rows up. So it's really kind of cool, actually. I love going to the Condors game. I miss Dancing Granny. She was a fan of the programs and a personal friend and would always yell at me when she'd hear on the show that I'd been to a Condors game that I didn't stop by and say hello to her. So I miss her a lot. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The white-haired grandmother, I believe her name was Doris, who used to do kind of a dance every game. We should support the Condors more, you all. We really, really should. 842-5376, our phone number, 842-KERN. And again, our top story of the day is a tragic one that has ended and ruined the legacy of one Cesar Chavez after it is discovered that essentially he's a pedophile and had been for a very long time. And if you go to NYT.com or NewYorkTimes.com, they broke the story over a year of investigating into this, and they found 2 very brave women here locally who were willing to tell their story, tell their truth, and be identified. They're now in their mid to late 60s. And then, of course, that was buttressed by the confession of Dolores Huerta, who announced that she was raped by Cesar Chavez and kept the secret for over 60 years, and that, in fact, had 2 children by the one-time revered labor leader and gave them up to another family. And only recently did these very middle-aged people learn that their biological mother was Dolores Huerta, who I think is a wonderful person. I really do. I've told you the story about, did I tell the story of dating the 31-year-old? Did I tell that story today?
Today? Not sure, but
I was dating a 31-year-old back about 6-7 years ago, in my mid-50s. And we had dinner at Casey's Steakhouse. And Emilio Huerta and Dolores and their entire family were celebrating Emilio's birthday. And the 31-year-old was the Latina that I was dating. And she said, I've got to go say hello to them. And I said, really? I just blasted Emilio for running for Congress. And she said, yes, I know his daughter. We're very good friends. So I had to go over there with her. And Emilio kind of gave me this, screw you handshake because you talk bad about me. And Dolores could not have been more delightful and could not have been more engaging. And she said, are you still on the radio? I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, I remember you when you were on television. Could not have been sweeter or nicer. So it's sad to see this thing all bust out like this and destroy the legacy of a man that many, again, revered and thought was the Martin Luther King of the Latino community. Powerful men are often flawed, and it's often ignored. Look the other way. That's going to do it for us. I want to thank the ladies from Bakersfield College, our good friend Howard Marcus, and all of you for joining us. In the meantime, for Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. I'll wrap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN, Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM, Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm John Scott. Israel kept up its campaign of targeting Iran's leaders in an effort to weaken the country's ruling theocracy, killing its third top official in just 2 days. An Iranian offshore natural gas field was struck in a sign of the war's mounting pressure from both sides on the region's economic lifeblood, energy.
That's a horrible question.
Meanwhile, an Israeli strike killed Iran's intelligence minister overnight, with Iranian state television confirming the death of Ismail Khatib.
Yeah, exactly.
Luigi Mangioni's lawyers seek to delay his state and federal trials in the killing of United Healthcare's CEO.
Luigi Mangioni's state trial is scheduled for June.